All right. Welcome in to the Rant. Welcome to the Rant with me, Pugs Moran, every day, roundabout noonish, live from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the beautiful E-Gallery in Dallas's fantastic design district. A lot of spit in my mouth there. Don't know where that came from. All of a sudden, filled up with water. Show was a little bit late getting started. I was sitting here at noon doing some things, puttering around, and then I was befallen with a great curse that those long-time viewers, listeners of the stream understand that I sometimes fall victim to, and that is the dreaded hiccups. Oh my God! I had a 10-minute hiccup spat just here before we signed on, where I was like, I cannot do this. I don't know why that happens. I don't know. I can beat hiccups. I learned very early on in journalism school. Mr. Ed Morris, one of my teachers, he taught me a trick on hiccups. And I don't know if the trick actually works or if it's a mental trick, but whatever, it has worked for me. So I can always get rid of hiccups. Sometimes it takes a little while, but if I concentrate, I can do it. And that's what I just did. Let's say hi to the chat room. We've got people coming in right now. We got Peter in the chat room, and that's good because guess what? Peter is today's executive producer. That's right. Today's show, executive produced by Pete. How do I pick that up? There you go. There you go. Thank you, Peter. Peter was the big tipper yesterday. You can be tomorrow's executive producer simply by being the biggest tipper of this show. What does that mean? That means that you support this kind of talk radio. What is this kind of talk radio? Well, it's not political. It's not sports. It's guy talk. It is the kind of talk radio that used to exist in this country throughout the late 1980s, all throughout the 90s, and then well into the 2000s before Justin Timberlake tore down Janet Jackson's boob. Top. Remember that at the Super Bowl when Justin Timberlake tore Janet Jackson's boob? That is the moment that ended this kind of talk radio. I'll tell you, I know because I was doing this kind of talk radio, and I remember what Monday morning was like. Oh my God, CBS. They had the clamps on. CBS was so worried about showing a boob during the Super Bowl. We worked for CBS Radio, that they basically just said, you can't do anything anymore ever again. So those of you might remember that show. Kelly and I did about 2 hours of puppy talk. Yes, we talked about our favorite puppies. We talked about the advantages of the breeds, no disadvantages, because we were advised to do optimistic talk. And we only did optimistic puppy talk for about 2 hours because CBS wouldn't let us do our regular show because they were afraid. Anyway, that kind of talk radio went away. Can't talk about boobs or relationships or, guys wanting to drink beer and drive cars fast. Can't do that stuff anymore because now you've just got to use your platform, your local talk radio platform to convince people to vote the way you want them to. That's all talk radio is now. And so this show is a reaction to that, a pushback. 3 years we've been doing it every day. We talk about current events, not from a particular partisan lens. We talk about current events from, you guys, we all live on the same block. We all live in the same neighborhood, and we're all just trying to get along. I do have a theory, a bit of a litmus test, if you will. My theory is that 70% of the American public are normal people. 70% of us are normal. We're good, God-fearing, tax-paying, God-loving. I already said that. God-fearing, God-loving. We love America. We're patriots. We're good people. 70% of us. 15% of us on the right are fucking nuts. They're gone. 15% on the left. They're nuts. They're blowing up Tesla dealerships. They're gone. Can't do business with that 30% of the population. Doesn't matter how they vote. They're just gone. We're never going to be able to deal with them. 70%, that's the rest of us. And that's who gather every day here at noon in the Kelly Moore Memorial Studio to talk about the world the way normal people see the world. Okay, so I said litmus test. Have you ever been arrested at a Target? Have you ever been arrested? Are you banned from your local Walmart because you just can't get past some of their seasonal promotions? You've been arrested. If you have, you're not allowed to listen to the show. Have you ever gone viral, getting dragged off an airplane? If you have, you're not allowed to listen to this show. You're a weirdo. Normal people don't get dragged off airplanes, okay? They just don't. If you are still invited to your family dinners, your gatherings, not just Christmas and Thanksgiving, but I mean when, old cousin Dennis graduates med school. If you're still invited to that dinner, please come on in, pull up a chair. You're the kind of person that we want here. However, if you're no longer allowed at family functions, keep moving. I'm sure there's an Alex Jones stream starting that you might be more interested in anyway. Let's say hi. We got Peter in the chat room. Once again, Peter is our executive producer, so thank you so much to Peter. Everybody, at some point today, you need to say thank you to Peter. Okay, that's just how we do it. That's one of the benefits. Peter is our executive producer. Sports Bras in the chat room. Sports Bras say they were involved in the Puppy Talk show the Monday following the Janet Jackson boob Super Bowl. That's right. That's what I call it, the Janet Jackson boob Super Bowl. CC, the Sports Bras, he says he remembers that show. Not only does he remember that show, but apparently he participated. He called in. He says, I called in that show and told you about my favorite puppy. Yeah. He's like, what are you doing? We're like, we're doing exactly what we were just ordered to do. We had an entire show planned. We were going to talk about the boob on the Super Bowl, but we can't do that. We can't cover the news because CBS is freaking out this Monday morning. So we did Puppy Talk. Good morning, Kelly. Good morning, Pugs. Hey, Pugs, got a question for you. Yeah, Kelly. Hey, Pugs, what's your favorite puppy? Oh, I don't know, Kel. I don't think you can do much better than a golden retriever. Really? Have you ever had a Chihuahua puppy? They're the cutest. You know, I don't like small dogs, but, I'm willing to give it a chance. Chihuahua puppies are the greatest. That's basically how 2 hours of the show went. Let's take some calls. 214-591, rock and roll, 591, rock and roll. Don't even know if that was the old number. Was that the old number? I don't know. I think that was the Loops number in Chicago. 591, rock and roll. Anyway, moving on. Thank you, Sports Bras, for participating in that moment from Pugs and Kelly show history. Who else do we have in the chat room that we need to say hi to? Jeff is here. Hi, Jeff. My guy Jeff is here. I'm sure all the regs are here. Should we get started? What do you say we just get started with the show? Let's just jump right in. No need to waste time. Welcome to the Rant. I am Pugs Moran. It is the 11th day of March, year of our Lord, 2025. Did you know that the 11th day of March is actually 70th day of the year? 295 more remain until the end of the year. Sorry, I had a little thing. This show will unfold before your very ears and eyes in 4 segments, quarters, if you're a football fanatic like I am. And let me tell you, we're going in on football and free agency. We got a whole segment. Oh my God, I can't tell you. Some teams are celebrating, like my Bears. Some teams, it's just going to be a big bore, like my Cowboys. What are the Cowboys doing? They're losing people, replacing them with lesser products. Oh, Jerry. Anyway, we got a whole bunch of crazy stuff happening in free agency. We'll talk about that. Trump and tariffs, we're going to get into that. Although, we're not going to get into it politically. I'm just going to say, here's what's going on. Here's what people are saying. Moving on. Let's see, what else do we have? Wendy Williams. I don't know who. I'm a middle-aged white man. I don't really know that much about Wendy Williams, but she is in the news again today. We're going to delve into that topic. We touched on it a few times over the years. She's been, I don't know if she's nuts. I don't know. Something's going on. She's making headlines. She was let out of some asylum that she was in by police yesterday, and she's calling into New York morning news shows and giving her side. It's crazy. So we'll get into that. Peter says Justin Fields is a Jet, so I'm happy. Yeah, I am too. Well, that's I'm happy for him. It's a terrible team. There are 2 teams that I really didn't want Justin Fields going to, the Cleveland Browns and the New York Jets. But he ended up with the Jets, and who knows, man? Who knows? It's going to go one of 2 ways. They're going to try and chew him up, which is they're going to find real quickly that, he's a good dude. Like, people like him. Like, the media likes him. Like, in Chicago media wanted to chew him up. And they were like, you know what? This dude's great in the locker room. The players love him. He says the right things. He's a decent kid. So, I don't know. New York is going to try and fuck with him. And we'll see how he handles that. I mean, it could be good. It could be bad. All right, more thoughts on other such deals coming up later in the show. I'm happy. Byron says Byron's got a take on Wendy Williams. He believes her to be a lizard person. I think Byron's a lizard person. I don't know what are we She's weird. She's weird. I'll give you that. Is that just... Byron with the advice of the... Or Peter, our exec producer, with the advice of the day. We got to stay optimistic. All right, 4 quarters is how the show plays out. Antecedently on this day is the first one. That's a look back at certain events that have helped shape our understanding of this day throughout history. It's this day in history. Quarter 2 is birthdays. We know what that is. Quarter 3 is deads. Same thing, but different. Dead people. They died on this day. They weren't born on this day. They died on this day. Where'd they go? Did they go to heaven? Or did they go to hell? That's quarter 3. Quarter 4, hot topics, current events, all the things that we're going to talk about that people are getting into today. Seeing footage now that, I don't know if there's a story, a tanker and a cargo ship collided in the North Sea yesterday, and both of them exploded up real good. Tanker and cargo ship collide off British coast, triggering multiple explosions and fuel leaks. One was a container ship, the other was an oil ship. Okay, that's it. There we go. Again, probably better sources for breaking information on that than here, but whatever. Now you know. All right, let's get started with quarter 1. We call it Antecedently on this day. It's how we start each and every show. It's a look back at this day's history and certain events that have helped shape our understanding of what might be coming. On this day, antecedently, in the year 1941, World War II, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, I believe the best president, signs the Lend-Lease Act into law, allowing American-built war supplies to be shipped to the Allies on loan. So yeah, this is not a part of American history that we really taught about in school, and that was our real hesitance to go help the Jews. We knew what was happening in Germany, and we as a country collectively, until Pearl Harbor, we were like, yeah, you know what, whatever, that's their problem. So revisionist history has sort of painted the United States as, we couldn't put up with that kind of tyranny. No, it was really just being attacked in Pearl Harbor that drew us into the war. And before we were even involved in the war, Churchill was desperate for American industry to help supply their war effort. And American industry was like, well, we don't know how this is going to shake out. We might want to be friends with Hitler. So maybe we shouldn't. We can't just give them stuff. We can't just support them. Because if Hitler wins, we're going to want to be friends with Hitler. Because we're the United States of 1940. Yeah. Madison Square Garden selling out 30,000 Nazis. It was a different time. I mean, the narrative was changed after we entered the war. And then it became, we care about the Jews. And Hitler's a monster. But that wasn't the case until this day in 1941 when Franklin Delano Roosevelt created this Lend-Lease Act, where he was able to convince American companies that you'll get your money back. Just give it to them in the war. You'll get the money back. That was the deal on this day in 1941. We inched closer to participating in World War II. On this day in December, right? December 7th. So it's what? It's March 11th of 1941. March 11th, 1941. We're like, all right, fine. We're going to give you equipment, but you're going to owe us for it. That was our deal. And then it was in December that Pearl Harbor happened. So we were dragging our feet. We weren't in a big hurry to help our European buddies. Because honestly, we weren't on record as believing that Hitler was all that bad. Hell, our ambassador to the United Kingdom, the Court of St. James, Joe Kennedy, was pro-fucking Hitler. So let's not get it twisted. We're not this moral cornerstone of the globe, okay? We just happened, we happened to fall on the right side of history with being against Hitler and all that, but it wasn't easy. We didn't get there easily. Wasn't obvious. Antecedently on this day in the year 1977, the 1977 Hanafi siege. We talk about this every year because this is the craziest thing that happened in America. In 1977, if this happened today, oh my God, it would be so exciting. We'd be doing a live stream. We'd be covering it. We'd be looking at maps. But no, it happened in 1977, and it barely rates a blip on history. A bunch of terrorists took over a whole bunch of office buildings in Washington, D.C. for multiple days. Around 150 hostages held in Washington, D.C. by the Hanafi Muslims are set free after ambassadors from 3 Islamic nations joined negotiations. That's today. Set free. It ended today. It killed 2 people. Guess who they shot? Crazy. 1977, they shot Marion Barry. That's right. He would go on to be the crackhead smoking mayor of Washington, D.C. But in 1977, he was a lawyer who was just there working at one of the buildings that was taken. He walked into a hallway as a Hanafi gunman exited an elevator, and the dude just shot him, hit him in the chest. Marion Barry, shot. It was on this day in 77 that they finally gave up. On this day in 1985, Mikhail Gorbachev, Gorby, God, I miss Gorby. I miss Perestroika. It was a good time. We were looking at Russia, and they were like, we're sorry. And we're like, that's okay, man. We've been waiting for you guys to come to the party. You guys can be cool. And Gorby was cool. And then we had Yeltsin. Gorby was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And the people too much identify me with the old Soviet way. I have to step aside now. So Gorby stepped aside, and we're like, okay, who should we put in? And Gorby wanted us to put in this other dude, but we went, nah, we can control the drunk mayor of St. Petersburg better. Let's make that dude Yeltsin in charge. So we made Boris Yeltsin our puppet, and things were good for 8 years. I mean, for us, not for the Russian people, because they threw his ass out. And then they went hard in the other direction, and they brought back an old Soviet KGB leader for Putin, and now we got what we got. But it was on this day in 1985, Mikhail Gorbachev is elected to the position of General Secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, making Gorbachev the USSR's de facto and last Soviet head of state. It was on this day in 1985. 2011, on this day, an earthquake measuring 9.0 magnitude strikes in Japan, triggering a tsunami, killing thousands of people. This is the nuclear thing. This is the nuclear. Remember when Japan, there was an earthquake in the middle of the ocean, and then a tsunami, I'm from Chicago, a tsunami rocked Japan, and then it drowned the nuclear plant. I don't know what's going on with that. The world didn't end. That's good. They were all like, hey, the world's going to end. The nuclear plant is underwater. And we're like, okay, let's wait this out. And we did, and it's fine. I mean, maybe not for people who live in the neighborhood where the nuclear plant was in Japan. I'm sure that's not fine. I'm sure that's pretty fucked up, honestly. But we survived. We're okay. Nuclear power. I think nuclear power is the way to go. I really do. Just don't live near a plant. That's it. That's my advice. Let's go full nuclear power. Let's put these things in Montana. Let's put these things in like North Dakota. Let's just set these things up where nobody live, and let's just, let's run our power off that. No problem. On this day, antecedently in the year 2020, the World Health Organization, WHO, declares the COVID-19 virus an epidemic. Oh, sorry. It went pandemic. Today, it was on this day that they called it a pandemic. Upping it from epidemic to pandemic. All right, Q2, let's do it. Here we go. These are people celebrating birthdays today, celebrities and the whatnot. Born on this day in 1931, Rupert Murdoch, Australian-American businessman and media magnate. I don't know what his deal is. He's a rich guy. I fucking hate him. I hate all rich guys. I hate all billionaires. He's a piece of shit. He's had undue influence over the rest of us. He doesn't give a shit. He lives in a different world. There are two worlds. Screw Rupert Murdoch. Born on this day in 1931. The only good thing I can say about him is that someday soon we'll be hearing reports of his death because we all die. Born on this day in 1931. Born on this day in 1950. Can't say a bad thing about this guy. You can roll your eyes if you want to be a pessimist. Maybe you want to be a dick and you want to be like, that guy sucks. No, he doesn't. He doesn't suck. The one thing we know about this guy, the only contribution that he has made to our lives. Otherwise, he's just a dude renting boats on a dock in the Bahamas. That's all he is, except for the song Don't Worry, Be Happy. Happy birthday, Bobby McFerrin. That's a good man right there. All we know about him is don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry, be happy now. Woo, woo, woo. It's a good song. I mean, it's not a good song. It's a good song the way God Bless America and Happy Birthday are good songs. It's not like a banger. You're not like, yeah, play Don't Worry, Be Happy, motherfucker! Don't worry. Yeah, he's doing it. Be happy. That never happened. That's not a Bobby McFerrin experience. But he sat down and he's like, I'm going to write a song. And he wrote a song, and it was a happy song, and it was a good song. Happy birthday, Bobby McFerrin. You're a nice man. So many times in my life, don't worry, be happy. That's a way to live, man. That is a way to live. It's a choice. You just make that choice. Born on this day in 1950, Bobby McFerrin. Born on this day in 1953. Here's a son of a bitch, Jimmy Iovine. Jimmy Iovine, American record producer, businessman, co-founder of Beats. He's a billionaire now because he convinced Dre that maybe they can make money off these headphones that Dre wanted to create. So there you go, Beats. Jimmy Iovine. Number of record companies. What's his record company? He had a big one. One of the big ones is him. Cool story, though. I will say this. Here's a cool story about Jimmy Iovine. You want to know the difference between Jimmy Iovine and Kevin O'Donnell? Okay. Jimmy and Kevin, they were both a couple of dudes who were sweeping up at the record plant in New York. They were kids. They wanted to be in the record business. They didn't go to college. They were just starting at the records, at the record company, right? They were starting in the mailroom, if you, in this particular case, the recording studio, the famous record plant in New York City. They were just a couple of sweeping dudes. One Easter Sunday morning at 7:00 in the morning, the guy who runs the record plant needed somebody to come in and unlock the studio on Easter morning, okay? Because they had a guest coming. They had a guy coming in. He had inspiration. He wanted to record. Boom. The place wasn't open, but it had to be open now for this person. So the guy who runs the record plant called first guy, Kevin O'Connor, whatever his name was. And he was like, it's Sunday. It's Easter. I'm going to church, and then I can't do it. Call Jimmy. So this guy calls the 19-year-old Jimmy Iovine. Jimmy Iovine picks up the phone, and he's like, you need to come down to the plant. You got to work today. We need somebody to open up the place and run tape. We've got somebody coming in. I know it's Easter. I know it's last minute, but, you got to do this. Jimmy Iovine went down there on that Sunday, Easter. His mom, I can't believe it. What are you doing? The Italian Brooklyn mom is what I'm picturing. You're making a $5 an hour. I don't know why I just made it Chinese, but I did. Why are you going in on a Sunday? I'm making a meatball. That's his mom. He gets on the train. He goes down there. He opens up the studio. Nobody's there. It's like, what the hell? It's like, I ruined Easter, and whoever was supposed to be here isn't going to be here. And then there's a knock on the door. He looks through the blind, and guess what? It's motherfucking John Lennon. John Lennon, the Beatles. Had some shit that he had to get off his chest, and he needed somebody to open up the studio. Jimmy Iovine opened up the studio. From that point, John Lennon adopted Jimmy Iovine, and his career was made. And that's why you've never heard of Kevin O'Connor. Never heard of Kevin O'Connor. Because when that call came, when that opportunity came, it was Jimmy Iovine, who's a billionaire now, who went in on Easter Sunday and ended up being the engineer on some raw tapes that John Lennon did, thus making Jimmy Iovine's career. Because from that point forward, he was John Lennon's guy. That's how it works. Jimmy Iovine, born on this day in 1953. Born on this day in 1964, Peter Berg. Peter Berg, I like Peter Berg. I like Peter Berg. The first time I saw Peter Berg was on that hospital show, Chicago Hope. Remember that show from the 90s? ER was like a hospital show, and it was like racking up ratings, and it was a hospital set in Chicago. So CBS went, we want in on that. So they created another hospital show called Chicago Hope. Didn't exactly have the ratings or the success that ER did, but it was a good show. It was a very good show. Mandy Patinkin and Peter Berg. Peter Berg played a hotshot young angry doctor. He was angry. He's an edgy doctor. Peter Berg would, of course, go on to become a film director. He's more known now as a film director than as an actor. Friday Night Lights. Other things. Lots of stuff that's good. Peter Berg's good. If Peter Berg, directs something, you know that it's going to be good. So there you go, Peter Berg. Happy birthday. Born on this day in 1964. Also born on this day in 1964, let's pay attention to a local legend. Build the man a statue. Put it right there in Deep Ellum. Vinnie Paul Abbott, born on this day in 1964. Of course, Vinnie Paul, American drummer, songwriter, and producer. We know him as one of the Abbott brothers here locally. Pantera, baby. Pantera! I would argue that they are in the conversation for most progressive metal band of all time. They were certainly different than the other metal things. Like, they're not like, Pantera's not like Metallica. Pantera's like a cooler thing. Something cool about that band. Always has been something cool. Something like you want, like I would marginalize a lot of metal bands before I would marginalize Pantera. Now, also granted, over the years, I got a chance to know those guys. I got a chance to know both Dime and Vinnie Paul. I like Dime more. Vinnie Paul was quieter. Dime was friendlier. But they're good dudes. Here's what it says. I like this. This is Vinnie Paul. This is the opening of his bio on Wikipedia. Vinnie Paul Abbott was an American musician, best known for being the drummer and co-founder of heavy metal band Pantera. He also co-founded Damage Plan in 2003 with his younger brother, Dimebag Darrell Abbott, and was a member of Hell Yeah for 12 years from 2006 until his death in 2018. Several major rock media outlets have ranked Abbott as among the greatest metal drummers of all time, ranking in the top 10 in multiple lists, in the top 5 in many others. I like that. I like that because I don't really know that Vinnie Paul is as appreciated for his drumming as he was. Dime is certainly appreciated for his guitar work. Dime is considered one of the great metal guitarists of all time. People don't even argue that. They just put him there in his place in the top 5 or wherever you want to put him. But Vinnie Paul's drumming. Vinnie Paul, born on this day, 1964, Vinnie Paul Abbott. Can't believe they're both dead. I mean, obviously we all remember when Dime died. Ohio, the dude crashed the stage, shot Dime, assassinated Dime right there on stage while he's playing. I mean, greatest rock and roll death of all time. And that's a badass way to go, slinging that guitar, dude with a gun coming at you, and terrible. So that was terrible, and we all lived through that. But then there was a good decade plus where Vinnie Paul was just out and about on his own. You'd run him into places. You know, he's always with his girl. And then I was in Chicago. I had moved back to Chicago, and I'm watching the news or something, and it just comes up that Vinnie Paul Abbott was now dead. Founding member of Pantera. Vegas, right? Heart attack in Vegas? I was shocked. I don't know. Anyway, that's sad. Born on this day in 1964, Vinnie Paul Abbott. You know the thing about those two guys. Here's the thing about those two guys, because I came from Chicago, and there's a lot of rock stars in Chicago. There's a lot of Smashing Pump, whatever. There's bands. They're all walking around, Styx, Cheap Trick. You run into them, the rock stars. Vinnie Paul and Dime didn't act like rock stars in Dallas. They just acted like dudes in Dallas. Like they didn't, I don't know what they acted like in New York or in Hollywood, but this was kind of like where if you ran into those guys at a club show, like in Deep Ellum, and you would, they weren't in VIP. They were usually just standing there, and you'd know them from their exotic, bedazzled cowboy hats. They were just good, normal dudes, just Arlington dudes. Now they're both gone. All right, here's another one. Here's another Dallas legend. We'll talk about her a little bit. Although she's another one of these rich girls. Lisa Loeb, born on this day in 1968. The exact opposite of Vinnie Paul. I wonder if Vinnie Paul and Lisa Loeb knew each other. Like, don't you want to believe that, like, all the Dallas music icons, don't you want to believe that, like, if they run into each other at, like, Eatsies or something, they're like, hey, Lisa Loeb, what's up? And she's like, hi, Vinnie Paul Abbott. Or hey, what's happening, Erykah Badu? Hey, Vaden Todd Lewis. Like, you want to believe that they all know each other. Like all the rock stars. I don't know if they do. Lisa Loeb, born on this day in 1968. She's, of course, a rich kid. She's a rich kid from Highland Park, the area where I live. Her daddy's like a heart surgeon, and her mother was like on the board of the Dallas Department of whatever. Important privilege. She went to Green Hill Academy. She went to the best girls' private school. She was cute. Lisa Loeb was cute. Undeniable. When she came out with that, you'd say, stay. Everybody wanted to take her on a date. She was cute. She had glasses. She did the Tina Fey hot girl in glasses thing like a decade before Tina Fey. As a matter of fact, I bet Tina Fey was trying to work the whole Lisa Loeb angle. Lisa Loeb, born on this day in 1968. Don't know where she is. Don't know what she's doing. What's she look like now? That's it. Let's do this. Let's see what Lisa Loeb looks like now. You'd say. All right. She still do glasses? What do you think? Think she's still doing glasses, or did she get LASIK? All right, this is we put Lisa Loeb today. All right, let's check her out. Let's see how's she doing. I'd date that. I can totally look at. She's still doing the glasses. She's still like, oh, look, I'm a cute girl in glasses. Oh, is that her then? And that her now? Yeah, she's holding up good. Holding up good. All right, still cute. Cute. So much cuter with a guitar, right, guys? So it's like that thing. You give a girl who's a 6 a guitar and she's automatically an 8.5. It is the same thing that happens when you put a girl behind a bar. You put an average, you take like a Toledo 8, right? And you put her behind a bar, she becomes like a Dallas 10. I don't know why this happens. Something about the act of a girl pouring you a beer and then taking money from you makes guys think they're hotter. I've known many dudes who have picked up bartenders and waitresses and been like, dude, she was so hot. And then they date her and they're like, yeah, I don't know. It's not as hot as I thought. It happens. Lisa Loeb. Look at her. She's so cute. She's got a nice smile. She's got dork glasses, but you know what I mean? She puts out. She's a rock girl. Lisa Loeb. There she is. Lisa Loeb, born on this day in 1968. Born on this day in 1969. Terrence Howard. He's crazy. He's like, he was, what was he in? He was in a bunch of movies. He's crazy. He's nuts. I think Terrence Howard might be another one of these guys like Kanye who are so smart that they cannot relate to the way other people think. Therefore, when they sit down and they start speaking extemporaneously, we cannot relate to what they're saying. And it ends with a guy like me sitting here on a stream going, Terrence Howard's crazy. He's crazy. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Of course, it might not be so much that he's crazy. It might just be that I'm stupid, but whatever. Anyway, Terrence Howard, born on this day in 1969. Born on this day in 1971. Wow, here's an idiot who figured out how to make money off being an idiot. I mean, I know that an entire generation kind of replicated this on YouTube with videos and shit like that, but the first, you always got to give credit to the first. The guy who figured out how to make money off getting kicked in the nuts, Johnny Knoxville. Johnny Knoxville, born on this day in 1971. Hell, I used to get kicked in the nuts all the time in the 80s for free. Never made a dime off it. Johnny Knoxville figures out you incorporate a camera. All of a sudden, you got an MTV show. Johnny Knoxville, born on this day in 1971. Born on this day in 1989. I mentioned this guy because, geez. I try to remind us every day on this show that, your next breath is not guaranteed. Life is a gamble. The next heartbeat could be your last because it's going to send an air bubble to your brain and your brain's going to go pop and you're going to just go. That's life. Life is fragile. Born on this day in 1989, Anton Yelchin. Remember Anton Yelchin? He was the actor from the new reboot of the Star Trek movies. I think he played Scotty. Maybe he played Bones. I don't know. He played one of them. Anton Yelchin was a hot young actor in Hollywood, and he had this house, and he had an electric gate, and he had a Jeep. And one day he was backing out of the driveway in his Jeep, and he stopped his Jeep in the middle of the electric gate. And he got out for a second to get something out of the mailbox. There was like a mailbox right there. So he opened his door of his Jeep, slid out a little, reached over to grab something, and the gate didn't stop. The gate kept going. He got crushed to death between a metal gate and like his Jeep Liberty. Ugh. He was on his way to a studio for a reading. He was just on his way. Yeah, I'll be there in 15 minutes. And then just reaching and getting mail. That's how fragile life is, man. Young actor. That's what happened. You believe that? There were people that had plans with him in a couple of days. Wait, what do you mean? We're not going out to dinner now? What, he's dead? That's just how fragile it is. Crazy. Anyway, moving on. Happy birthday. Born on this day, 1993. A guy who does not deserve any of our ill will. He is just a victim of circumstance. Under slightly different circumstances, I'm sure that he would be celebrated. But right now, I think he's kind of persona non grata, and it's not really his fault. Happy birthday, Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, American basketball player, current member of your Dallas Mavericks, very provocatively, was involved in the Luka trade. He came from the Lakers. Luka went to the Lakers. How's that working out for him? Mavs won a game yesterday. That's good. All right, let's go. Quarter three now. Let's go into the deaths. These are people who died. These are people who died. Let's decide, where did they go? Some days, there's just not a whole lot to get into here, and today is one of those days because we only got one death. Dead on this day in 2006, Slobodan Milosevic. That's it. Seriously, there's like nobody famous that died today. A couple people who are like fringe famous, but I'm like, do I want to mention a guy who did movies in the 1930s? We got Slobodan Milosevic. He was, of course, a politician. He was the president, Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. Maybe remember back in the 90s when that war was breaking out between the Croats and the Serbs and the Yugs and the Boogs and the I don't know. I don't really remember a whole much about that whole situation. But here's what I do know, historically speaking. Slobodan Milosevic was the bad guy. He was the bad guy. He was a piece of shit. He was put on trial at The Hague for war crimes and all kinds of awful shit. And he died on this day in 2006. Put him in hell. Slobodan Milosevic goes to hell. We ain't putting him. He's a piece of shit. He was a brutal guy. He murdered and slaughtered people. All right, guys, that's going to do it for the first three quarters. It's time for us to now move effortlessly into the segment of the show that we all come for. It's the hot topics, current events, headlines, and trends. Hiya, Barney. Let's say hi to Barney. Let's say hi to Peter. Who else we got to say hi to? Yeah, that's right. I did. I just picked my nose. Did you catch that? You can back up the tape. You catch me like quickly flicking a little bit of dry, gross bug off my nose. That's what I just did. Jeff chiming in on Terrence Howard. He says he's way smart, but also batshit crazy. Those two things go hand in hand. They absolutely do. Peter says that he thinks that Slobodan is a great name for a band. Slobodan. Got to be metal, right? Got to be like Eastern European metal. That'd be cool. All right. Al with the question. When is your first guest sitting in? I don't know. It'll happen. It'll be a process. It'll be a slow thing. It'll be, I don't know. Frankie says hi, Pugs. Hi, Frank! What do you say there, Frankie? All right. Nina says smart plus crazy equals hot. Am I right? I'll tell you, when you apply those to women, smart and crazy, I'm attracted to that. I am. As long as there's like a modicum amount of hot sprinkled. It's gotta be hot, definitely changes it. Smart, crazy, and ugly. I guess you're right. That doesn't work. Smart, crazy, and ugly, no man wants that. Smart, crazy, and hot, a lot of men will chase that. But are they chasing it just because of the hot? No. I think there is something when you get that combination that men find intoxicating. Smart, crazy, and hot. It's a good point, Kevin. Kevin brings up that Darth Vader was our first guest. Well, he was just there. He was just sitting there for camera test. My first guest was actually my son. I had my son on the other day. We're not going to stream that though. He was typically my son. This is stupid. It's not stupid. This is a big moment. We're going through a big moment here. I'm about to take you out on a test drive. I've never driven with you before. I want to document this. This is stupid. He never looked out of his phone. How experienced are you at driving? Enough. You want to answer the question like a normal human being, or I'm going to have to come over there and smack you? I dare you to smack me. That's like his attitude. I dare you to try and smack me. Oh, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to stand up? You're going to beat up your old man? Is that what's going to happen? Your mom going to have to come down here and pick you up because your dad went to the hospital because you made it? See, I use that kind of stuff. Oh, I dominate him emotionally and mentally, but he does still fall back on the whole thing that he is quite certain that he could kick my ass. And I'm not delusional, you know? I'm not going to be one of these dads who's like, I'll tell you, you stand up to me. This kid's fucking huge. He's huge. He's got nothing but energy. I can't even play wrestle with him. We were laying in bed, and I was fucking with him. I was doing this thing where I was responding in a different accent to everything. And he gets smashed. He's like, knock it off. I'm like, no, I did not knock it off, right? So we do these things. He took his fist and he goes, knock it off. And he hit me on the thigh, on the meaty part of my thigh. Just boom, just dumb 15-year-old strength. Boom. I have a bruise the size of an NFL football on my thigh from where he hit me. And he was just kidding. He's like, yeah, just kidding. And I'm like, dude, that hurt. You fucking monkey. Stop it. He's like, I didn't mean it. Big, dumb, retard strength. Bah! So that was a thing. But other than that, we have a really good relationship. You probably shouldn't extrapolate the worst examples. We do have a good relationship. Peter wants to know how good was his driving. His driving was excellent. It was, I'm more nervous than he was. His driving was excellent. He was perfect. He didn't do anything wrong. There wasn't a lot of, we had one instance, okay? We had one instance where we went out on Irving Boulevard here, and we were only going to be on it for 2 blocks, and then he was going to make a left. He was going to get in a left turning lane. He was going to wait for the arrow, and he was going to make his left turn, right? So we're down here in the design district. So he had like 2 blocks to get over to the left lane, and I'm like, get over to the left lane. Get over to the left lane. Dude, you're going to want to get over. Dude, get over to the left. I need you to get over to the left lane. And he was like, hold on, I'm checking. So that was a little bumpy. Yeah, but that was it. Other than that, he was good. He was good with everything. Turn signals. He's aware. It's good. He's good. He's fine. I'm thinking next week, the next time we're going to do some highway driving. He's got to get out on the highway. Oh, God. But he can do it. He can do it. Frankie says, I wanted to fight my dad in high school and not till my dad was in his 70s could I take him. My dad had farm strength, a big brawling, Ditka-looking man with military training and years of brawling in Chicago. Yeah, I wouldn't fuck with your dad, Frank. I think your Frank probably whip your ass still. But that ain't the dynamic with me and my kid. My kid is like deadlifting 400 pounds. What? My kid's huge. He's big and he's tough, and it's still dumb though. Still a 15-year-old. Still like just a dumb 15-year-old who doesn't. He's good to move shit though. I like bags, groceries. We come in from the groceries. He can take like 15 bags of the plastic ones. I'm like, yeah, do 10 more on your arm. Come on, you weird asshole. Peter says you should be extremely proud for being back and being such a big part of his life. I don't know if I'm proud. I'm happy. Certainly everything that I have gone through, all the struggling and all that kind of stuff, doing the show every day for 3 years. It is all because the end result is that I just need, we couldn't be separated by 1,000 miles any longer. Too many years when he was very little, where I was living in Chicago and he was living here, and we were only seeing each other certain times a year, even though we were, Skyping and all that, every night or every other night or whatever, as often as possible. It still was important to get back here. So yes, thank you, Peter. I'm not proud of that, but I am very happy. Very happy. Barty says my daughter sucks at merging, and that's bug tussle merging. I imagine riding with her in Dallas. Merging, well, it's good. It's good that they are apprehensive about merging, because I think that it shows in the case of my son where I was like, get over. He was being extra safe. Like he was checking everything. And he learned like one of the rules of the road that you learn that I think we forget after we've been driving for decades is that when you change lanes, you can't change multiple lanes at once. You're not allowed to put your turn signal on and then cross over 3 lanes. You do one at a time. And the rule is 50 yards. So you move to 1 lane. Say you want to get over 3 lanes. All right. So you move to 1 lane, turn signal, check your blind spot, move to that lane. And then 50 yards later, you're allowed to hit your turn signal again and emerge into the. So he was doing that. He was doing that when in reality, on a Sunday afternoon, get over. You got to get over, dude. Somebody's coming. That's the reality. So that's the only issue that he had, sort of balancing the reality of real life driving with the simulations and all the rules and all that. But he'll be fine. You need more real world experience. All right, let's get started. I'll get rid of that. Let's go into quarter 4 one more time. I want to remind you that we have an executive producer of today's show every day, the big tipper of the day, the person who supports talk radio becomes the executive producer of the show. And today is no exception. We've got Peter. Thank you, Peter. Peter is our executive producer today. If you want to be tomorrow's executive producer, all you got to do is be the big tipper. You can do that by dropping something in the Cash App or the Venmo. Moving on. Quarter 4 of the rant. Oh, really? Man, Google wants me to sign in again. Why not? Well, yeah, it makes perfect sense. I've been on your page. I've been active on the page all morning long. Maybe you ought to just, interrupt what I'm doing here so that you can feel secure that you're providing me the best online security possible. Thank you, Google. Oh, and now you're going to take forever to verify me. Spinning. Hold on. I swear to God. There we go. All right, let's get started here. These are the top stories. These are the things everybody's talking about. Okay, hold on. We'll get to that in a minute. That's not the big story. Well, I guess maybe it is the big story. Ladies and gentlemen, our stock market is in absolute free fall. Stocks are plummeting. That's the word that I'm reading right off the TV here. 500 points right now. 500 points, closed down 1,000 yesterday. Here's the thing, folks, and I'm going to remind you of this. It has been a brutal 2-3 weeks for the stock market. It has been brutal. Every day it's down. 500, 200, it's down. Oh, it's only up 50. It's down 500. It's down 1,000. It's currently down 500. Now, this is, of course, reactionary to all of the crazy things that Washington has been saying about tariffs and all of that. So the stock market is it's figuring itself out. Here's what I want everyone to remember, okay? Because this is, I personally think it's far too early in this administration to be like, it's all falling apart. I mean, it very well could be all falling apart. And if we're still saying this come June, there's a real problem with the dude we elected. He doesn't know what he's doing. But if shit starts to even out, this is a reaction to initial change. I would also point this out. I'm trying to see the number. Yeah, we're still above 41,000. Okay, that's the cumulative participation in the American stock market, 41,000. Now that's not the number that we see every day. Every day we see the arrow up, green, or down, red, and that's the percentage that it dropped from day to day. But what's really important is the cumulative number, 41,000. The stock market is at 41,000. After 3 weeks of devastating losses, it's at 41,000. Let me remind you of where we were in 2008 during the mortgage crisis. Okay, remember 2008, how bad that was? So before all that shit fell apart, the market was, remember, market's at 41. Before everything fell apart back then, right? Around 2005, 2006, before everything fell apart, I want you to remember this. Did we have rich people then? I don't remember. Did people have yachts in private planes in 2006? Or is that just something we're seeing now? No, they had money back then. There was a fucking super rich class back when the market was at 18,000 cumulative. It was at 18,000. Then it collapsed and we dropped down to, I think, 8 at the worst. We dropped below 10. That's a problem. That means that from 18,000, you've lost 10,000 of your cumulative investors there in the market. So you're down to 8. And I remember, I don't know if it was Milton Friedman or somebody else, some other economics dude. I remember at the time a very serious interview with him, and he said things had begun to get a little bit better. We were back over 10. And he was asked, when can we be comfortable that the American economy is back on track and Wall Street is making money like they were? And he said, when we get above 13. Now, remember, they were at 18 when it crashed. Okay. So then you go down to 8, and then you got a smart guy, an economist go, well, 13 is where the market should be so that we can have a thriving Wall Street class. 13. And we got there. It took a few years with the whole quantitative easing bullshit and all that stuff that we did, but we got the market back up. So now, if you remember, the low of 8 and from a crash of 18 was private jets and popping bottles and P. Diddy white parties and all of that. There was a wealth class that was killing it when the market was at 18. It's at 41,000 now. Okay. So spare me it's down 1,000 points. It could go down 22,000 points and it would still be at the level where there was a super rich class back in 2008. Okay. So spare me. The world is falling apart. No, what's happening is dudes who are worth $200 billion in 2025 are now only worth $150 billion. So let's stop acting like our entire economy is imploding. It's not. 41,000. Okay? Spare me. Trump is now saying, though, causing more instability in the last couple of hours, he's picking fights with Canada again. We're back into this whole problem that we're having with Canada. He now wants to put 50% tariffs on all Canadian metal products coming in starting tomorrow morning. So 50% on Canadian aluminum, Canadian steel. I don't understand this whole thing. I got a theory, but I can't actually allow myself to believe this theory, because if the theory is true, we're cooked, people. We are absolutely cooked. Oh, Canada. Trump declares it only makes sense for the U.S. to absorb neighbor as 51st state after announcing new steep tariff increases. President Donald Trump ramped up his trade war with Canada Tuesday morning, arguing that it only makes sense for the U.S. to absorb its northern neighbor, while announcing plans to impose steep new tariffs on it. Trump's on-again, off-again tariff policy with some of the U.S. closest allies and largest trade partners, including Mexico and Canada, has caused significant market disruption, leading to a spate of warnings about looming recessions. During a Sunday, I don't care about that. Anyway, let's pull this apart, okay? First of all, what are we doing? Remember I said I got a theory? All right, so I got a really spooky theory on what we're doing. Is this motherfucker so desperate to seem like a tough guy that he's bullying our closest friends because he's gutless and doesn't want to fucking bully the people we should actually be tough with? Like fucking China, Russia, and North Korea? No, he's buddies with all these guys, but he's fucking with Canada? Are you kidding me? And okay, so here's the second thing. I understand making political hay out of our problems with our southern neighbor, Mexico. Mexico's got a lot of fucked up shit, and it affects us culturally and societally in a whole bunch of different ways. So I get that. I don't agree, I think, with the way that they're going about managing the Mexico problem, but there is an issue there. And I think that even the most ardently anti-Trump people will admit that there has been a problem with our southern neighbor. They're not exactly the most stable of nations. They seem to have a lot of corruption, and the crime that spills over our borders is undeniable. We don't have that fucking problem with Canada. Why are we doing this to Canada? What the hell? You kidding me? Canadians want to boo American hockey teams during the national anthem? I'm right there with them because I don't get this at all. Canada is awesome. Canada isn't a problem. Canada is our cool-ass little brother who all of a sudden, to impress the kids at the new school, I don't know what's going on, we're fucking with our own family. I don't get it. Now, my theory is again, that he's got to project strength. So who can he fuck with without any repercussions? Canada. And Canada's standing there like, what the fuck? The fuck did we do all of a sudden other than stand by you your entire existence? Canada's not our enemy in any way, shape, or form. Canada is our friend. We would love for everybody else in the world to be just like Canada. That would be cool. But we're fucking with them. All right, point 2. What are you doing? You want to make Canada the 51st state? I mean, aside from how incredibly absurd that is, they don't want to be the 51st state. And I don't know why you're just saying this. Are you trying to be cute? I don't get it. They're not going to be our 51st state. We can't even make Puerto Rico a state. There's other people who've been in line to be, no, Canada would be the 51st state. Okay, be careful. This is dumb. Really? Republican MAGA wants Canada to be the 51st state. So you want to add 2 more liberal senators because there ain't going to be a fucking MAGA dude elected out of Canada. They're incredibly progressive. You're going to get 2 more liberal Canadian senators and God knows how many more congressmen. The Democrats will dominate Congress if you add Canada as a 51st state. What has Canada got? What is there, like 30,000 people? I don't know how many people are in Canada, but they're going to give you enough. They're going to give the Dems enough of those liberal-minded, progressive, Canadian socialized medicine Congress people that the Republicans and MAGA will never sniff power again. You don't want Canada. Canada will fuck everything up for you. But I think he's saying it just because, again, he needs to look strong. And he certainly has not looked strong against Putin. The whole world is going, why is this fucking guy sniffing this dude's balls? So he's fucking with Canada. And here we are. I don't understand it, but hey, you MAGA fucks are weird. You 15% on the right, you guys are fucking weird. Go ahead. Fuck with Canada all you want, you bunch of pussies. Don't fuck with Canadian. Here's another thing. You think you start running your mouth, you dumbass Upper Peninsula, Michigan motherfucker. You're going to run your mouth and some Canadian hockey player is going to put your fucking teeth in the wall. Seriously. Canadians are not fucking pussies. I don't know. Maybe down here in Texas and in the South, we don't run into many Canadians. But I can tell you up north in the Great Lakes region, I've seen a lot of Canadians start bar brawls. They're all drunks. They're all drunk. They're all happy until they're angry drunks. Oh, Canadians are not pussies. This idea that Trudeau's a pussy. And I look at Trudeau. I look at him and I'm like, yeah, okay, maybe this is part of the reason here. Again, Trudeau, you got somebody with the masculinity of Jimmy Fallon running your country. I don't think so. I don't think that's a good look for Canada. Pope. Let's talk about the Pope. I was calling last week. Pope, rally and boot. Rally and boot. Let's go, Pontiff. And then get up. We got Easter. We got Lent. We got to do stuff, Pope. The Pope is on the mend. Fucking Pope. We had him in the ground 2 weeks ago. Pope is on the mend. Pope Francis was reported to be in good spirits on Tuesday, a day after the Vatican indicated that he was out of danger and could be discharged in the near future after almost a month in the hospital with pneumonia. The 88-year-old head of the World Catholic Church has been in Rome's Gemelli Hospital since February 14th with pneumonia in both lungs. He has suffered several respiratory crises that sparked real fear for his life. But he's rallying, man. He's good. He's good. Now, I expect tomorrow an announcement that he's dead, because that's how it goes. I'm going to see a news story. I'm going to come on the air tomorrow, and I'm going to go, well, the Pope died last night, 10 hours after I told you that he was doing well. So that's how it goes. Excuse me. All right, let's turn our attention locally. Oh, hold on. We got people saying stuff in the chat room, and I'll tell you something. When Mama B writes more than one sentence, I'm going to pay attention to it. Mama B in the chat room says, years ago we had pensions, no longer. Average people now invest in the stock market for retirement. These market drops don't really hurt from market drops. The guy who retires tomorrow is hurting. Yeah. Well, that kind of goes without saying, and maybe I should have said it. There are people getting fucked over by the stock market, by these incremental drops, these day-to-day 500, 1,000 point drops. The people getting hurt are the people who, are not big Wall Street players. The regular, everyday Main Street USA Charles Schwab investor is getting their asses handed to them. But we don't fucking care about them because that's your aunt, and fuck your aunt. Fuck her. We care about Elon and Bezos having a fleet of Learjets. We don't think that way. That's a great point. Mama B knows. 2008. People's lives were destroyed. The famous story of the state of Mississippi Janitors Union. The people who worked as janitors in Mississippi buildings like the state capitol, schools, universities, whatever. They were all invested in a pension plan. You work 50 years cleaning up rich kid shit, and then you retire and you think you're going to be taken care of. Well, no, they got fucked because you see, all of their retirement was invested by some Wall Street guys in a thing called derivatives. And derivatives weren't a real thing, and all the money went away. And all of those people, those janitors, they got fucked hard, like lost everything. They got kicked out of their old folks' homes, all of that shit. Oh, the guys that invented the derivative thing? Oh, yeah, no, they're like 10 times richer today than they were back then. Nothing happened to them. Nothing, no jail sentences, nothing. There was no looking into how this could be allowed to happen, how so many hardworking middle-class American people's fortunes could be jeopardized in such a reckless and careless way. No, nobody cared. Nobody cared. The dude that fucked over those people probably has 3 Learjets today. Probably owns an island off Mayorkas or somewhere. Meanwhile, you had to bury your great aunt in an anonymous grave because, you couldn't afford the burial insurance anymore. That's the reality. That's the reality. And everybody just wants to pretend like, nope, that's not what's been happening here in this country for the last 20 years. Nah. Kevin says, and they are very much trying to eliminate Social Security. We're fucked. Oh, yeah, they are. Oh, they're fucking absolutely coming for Social Security because they realize that they don't need old people anymore. When the old people voting bloc was really important to the Republican Party, they wouldn't touch Social Security, Medicare. Oh, they were the staunchest of defenders of it. But guess what they found out? They found that fucking bullshit MAGA 30 to 55-year-old white dude who takes his profile picture in his F-150 with his sunglasses and his fucking beard. That motherfucker is more important and will vote harder with less effort than the old people. So yeah, fuck the old people. No, man. They're going to slash Social Security. They're going to go into all of these benefits that we promised to these people that give their life, their soul, their hard work, all to build the middle class in this country. We're going to fuck those people over. We don't care. We don't care about them. Fuck them, right? Trump's going to send $1,000 to everybody. Fuck them. Being fucking robbed, man. This is getting out of hand. Now again. This is where I see it going. That's worst case scenario. But, June. June 1st. Let's look at June 1st. These are growing pains. Changes. Great change is going to come, and it will provide great discomfort for people. Change is hard. It's different. We're seeing it on the stock market. We're seeing it with unemployment rates. But let's see what starts to happen. Late April. Let's see if we get a bounce in May. Let's see if things start to change and we start going well, because that's also a possibility. Trying to be optimistic. I don't know. I don't know enough about these things. Let's see here. Peter says, dude, I'm officially considered old now because I'll be 65 this year. Yeah, you are. You're not going to have that Social Security, though. They're going to start cutting that on you. What are you, a deadbeat? What do you think? What, you just going to lay around? What are you, 70? You think you can retire? Get a job. Walmart's hiring. All right, let's keep going. That's enough of that stuff. Let's talk about some mayhem that occurred in Frisco. This is a weird story. Frisco, Texas. Oh my God, one of the nicest places in the world. I'll tell you, I have plenty of friends who live in Frisco. I myself was once a resident of Frisco. Frisco, Texas. Holy crap. Who doesn't love Frisco, Texas? What is going on here? You think this is some mayhem? Check this out. This happened in a gated community. A gated community in Frisco had an officer-involved shooting. White people, rich, upper middle class white people going nuts in Frisco. Frisco police fatally shoot a man wanted for felony warrant, and a woman was also arrested. Let's see this dude. There's another angle to this story, because this happened on Friday in a gated community where Frisco police killed a white dude inside a gated community, and they didn't even report it till Monday. So everybody's like, wait a second, you can't have an officer-involved shooting and not report it till Monday. What's going on, Frisco police? So they're trying to... Frisco police officers shot and killed 43-year-old Gregory Shepard while serving a felony warrant at his home last Thursday. Frisco police say that they were trying to serve felony warrants for Shepard and 32-year-old Kara Carper when he pointed a gun at officers. Not a good move there, Greg. Shepard was shot and killed. Carper was arrested and taken to Collin County Jail. Details about what led to the felony charges against Shepard and Carper are unclear. Here's pictures of them. Let's see these two. Troublemakers, tell you. Look at these two. Look at these people. Look at these two. Hey, Byron. White people. Am I right? Am I right? White people. Well, you shouldn't have reached for your gun, kid. Maybe the cop wouldn't have shot you. White people. Okay. Here's where it went down. Oh, man. Sorry, I just lost something. That's not good. That's all right. Went down right by the Star, right over by the Star. Like it's good Frisco. Like I don't think there's bad Frisco anymore. There used to be sketchy Frisco. Like when I lived there was like areas that were all old houses, but I think all those old houses have been torn down and they've now been replaced by like Jerry Jones $1 million condos. I think that's pretty much what happened to bad Frisco. Let's see where this happened. A gated community. Police-involved shooting. Dude comes out of his house. He's got a gun. Cops shoot him. Where is it? I wanted to see this on a map. Oh, here we go. Okay. There we go. All right. What are we looking at here? All right, here we go. Yeah. So, okay. So here is, I always use Lake Louisville, Lake Louisville right here. All right. So here's the bush, right? This is the bush. Got the bush. Follow my little arrow. This is the bush, right? Very good. This is the Dallas North Tollway, right? So this is the bush and the tollway in Frisco. So this is Legacy. It happened on Legacy. This is like the fancy country club right here. You got the Star. Where's the Star? Where's the Star? There's the Star. I don't know where the Star is. Fuck it. It's over here somewhere. Oh, there it is. There's the Ford Center. Okay, so here's the Star where the Cowboys practice facility. So here it happened just south of the Star. Look at this right here. Gated community. Not like fancy houses. Like, what are they doing in Frisco here? These are like normal single-family home. When they said gated community, I thought we were talking about, fancy Frisco mansion gated community on a golf course. This is just like... it's just like a normal house. All right, so here it is. There's the gate. This is where it went down. All right, Frisco mayhem. Frisco police now answering questions as to why it took them 3 whole days to report that they shot and killed the dude inside his gated community. What else do we have? Oh, Rangers. Let's do some Rangers talk. The Texas Rangers had look what happened. See, the stupid picture went bad. Now I got to fix that. I want to go back to my Eagle. I like my Eagle. I like my Eagle. I like the colors. I like the way it pops. Texas Rangers. Let's talk about the Texas Rangers baseball team, because apparently they put out a limited edition cap for sale on their Texas Rangers homepage. And I'm sorry, white guy from the Midwest. I'm not offended by this, but apparently it's not. Here, I'll show it to you. Maybe Adam Reyna can explain to me exactly what I'm supposed to be upset about here with this Texas Rangers hat. Is it a New Era hat? So it's like a legit hat. All right, here we go. All right, so the Texas Rangers, they had to remove this hat from their Texas Rangers store because apparently that's a Mexican slur. Apparently Titas means titties in Mexican. In Mexican, I believe it's Spanish. Hey, Jamie, you want to check on that? Is it? They don't speak Mexican, right? They speak Spanish. So I don't know. So what does that mean? Titas, does that mean titties in Mexican? Jamie, did we get an answer? So there you go. Very embarrassing moment for the Texas Rangers. Although, my Midwestern white Great Lakes region raised ass had no idea that was bad. Peter says it looks like titties. No. That's not a reason to remove a hat because one guy thinks it looks like titties. Titas. Does that mean something? If a Mexican dude goes, nice titas, is that what that means? Not just simply that it looks like it says titties. I mean, is that a known slur of vulgarity, if you will, profanity even, in Mexican culture? That's the answer that I'm looking for. Mr. Popular. Barney says, sounds like a great way to sell hats. It does. It sounds like a great way to sell hats. So the Texas Rangers put out a hat that they're trying to sell. Boy, I sure hope this hat sells. I really want it to be a hit, they said in the meeting. And then they put the hat out, and then some dude online goes, that says titties in Mexican. Somebody says that, and then they're like, oh, we got to get it off. Let's take it down. We can't possibly have that. No, Barney's fucking right. That's how you sell hats. The Texas Ranger titty hats. They fucking pulled it back. See, these are the people that need to be fired from the corporate world. These people who react, they overcorrect instantly with the slightest bit of social pushback, whether it's online or anything. Oh, I'm sorry. One person said they had a problem with it, so now we will not sell this hat. Fuck that. It's funny that it spells titties. All right? It's funny that there's going to be a lot of pervy Mexican dudes walking around with his titties hat. That's funny. And they're going to sell hats. And that was the whole purpose of it. Texas Rangers, bunch of puts. We've pulled it from a store. Now, Peter absolutely has a valid point. It's a fucking stupid looking hat. It's a stupid hat. That's why I won't buy it. But if some idiots out there who don't mind wearing a stupid, ugly hat, can we talk about these hats? Can we talk about less is more, kids? Buying your fan hats and all that. Less is more, okay? The classic New York Yankee black hat with the white New York classic, okay? Chicago Cubs, hurts me to say it. Just a simple classic. My White Sox, black hat, white script, classic, okay? I hate when you go into like these fan shops and you see these hats and they look like fucking NASCAR hats. NASCAR people, it's well established, NASCAR people have zero taste in style. Zero. They're all a bunch of hillbillies, okay? They don't know what looks good. Every now and again you get somebody, but no, hillbillies don't know what looks good. They have tacky taste, and it's all over NASCAR. Baseball has always been sort of classic, pinstripes and less is more. I hate these hats that are all like, that's a crazy difference. We got flames on the side. I don't want flames on the side of my baseball cap. There's no team that has flame logos. I stand by that. There's no team that has flame logos. I had to think about that. Byron says he's, I'm not going to get Rangers logo pasties for my Titas. There you go. Let the whole room see it. There you go. Byron's going to get Ranger logo pasties for his Titas. That's how you do it. All right. What else do we have? Frisco. We went through the Frisco mayhem. There's like a I'm an asshole bill working its way through the Texas State House. It ain't going to pass. But it's just like somebody wants the people who vote for him to know that he's an asshole. That, hey, you guys a bunch of fucking inbred, stupid hillbillies. You want an asshole? I'll be your asshole. That's all. That's all that this guy's doing. He's got 0 co-sponsors. Like nobody. Like there's a lot of crazy people in the Texas State House. Nobody wants any of this. They're all like, yeah, get the fuck out of here, dude. This is just, what are you doing? Trying to make sure, you know, the barbershop conversation in your hometown is all about you and how you're kicking ass. So there's a bill in the Texas House. I'm going to give you this guy's name. Not that we need to know his name. He should be forgotten. Texas bill would make identifying as transgender a felony punishable by jail. That's right. This guy's going so far. He's overcorrecting so far. He wants it to be illegal, punishable by jail, to just be trans in Texas. If you're trans and you know it, you're going to jail. Fucking idiot. See, this guy, he's just being a dick for clout. You're just being a dick. There ain't nobody that's going to support this. A Texas state bill could charge transgender people with gender identity fraud, making it illegal to identify as trans on official documents and potentially leading to jail time. The bill, which was filed last week by Republicans, of course he is. I mean, you know, of course. If you're an asshole, you're a Republican. Now, if you're a stupid, feckless coward, you're a Democrat. If you're a stupid, feckless coward, you're a Democrat. But if you're just a fucking dumb asshole, you're a Republican. Okay? The bill, which was filed last week by Republican State Rep Tom Oliverson, would make it a state felony if a person knowingly makes a false or misleading verbal or written statement by identifying their sex assigned at birth incorrectly to a government entity. Fuck you guys. That's so 2024. Seriously, the whole trans thing. Can we just move on? That's going to settle itself. You know how I know this? Because it's not a big issue. None of you people know any trans people. We're not like being inundated with trans people every time we walk outside. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trans people on my way to my car this morning. That's not a thing. It's not happening. Stop it. You're turning this into an issue. You fucking not even dealing with it in your family, probably. You know, you don't even know anybody who's trans. Maybe you go out to the grocery store and now there's a trans person that bags groceries. Yeah, it's a little specific because it's true. You know, I got a trans person. The one trans person that I know is I was gonna say a dude, but I'm not entirely sure which direction that person, that human, is going. I'm not sure. I would bet he started out a boy, but is now kind of doing a girl thing. But I don't know. Anyway, that's the one that I deal with. Been helpful to me in the past. Sometimes when I'm doing the robot checkout, the light will go and you'll need someone to come over and swipe their pass and then beep, 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 and get you back up and running. They have done that for me a couple of times. That's the extent of my interaction. I always say, thank you. Amigo? I don't know what I should call you. Anyway, stop making the trans thing an issue. It's not an issue. It's not everywhere. It doesn't affect you. Just stop being mean to people that have absolutely no bearing on your everyday life, okay? How about that? Bad day yesterday for the Menendez brothers. So remember the story with the Menendez brothers, and this is just so awesome. This is just how it all works. This is how fucking stupid we are as people. So Netflix put out a miniseries about the Menendez brothers. The Menendez brothers are a couple of rich Beverly Hills silver-spooned assholes who murdered their parents back in the 80s. It was a big story back in the 80s and 90s. So they've been in jail all this time, and Netflix does a miniseries that's got, they cast a couple of like fucking sexy semi-gay dudes. I don't know if they were gay actors or whatever. I stopped watching, but it was very homoerotic because Ryan Murphy did it, and everything Ryan Murphy does has to have a veneer of homoeroticism. Everything, even his scary movie stuff, his American Horror Story, that's like gay slasher porn, American Horror Story. Ryan Murphy just makes everything too gay. Ugh. Anyway, let's move on. So he does the Menendez brothers thing, and he makes them gay. He makes them like totally gay, and there's a whole bunch of like they're shirtless and they're ripped. I don't remember the Menendez brothers being super hot, but okay. So this revisionist history that we were all treated to a couple of months ago reimagines them as super hot gay twins who only murdered their parents in cold blood because they were molested. Okay, so that's kind of what Ryan Murphy did with the story. It was dumb too, by the way. If you haven't seen the Menendez thing on Netflix, don't waste your time. It's stupid. So that on Netflix becoming a bit of a phenomena, the number one watch thing on Netflix, it coincided with elections. There were a lot of stupid people, especially in Los Angeles, who were like, oh, I think the Menendez brothers are hot. They should go free for being hot. Totally forgetting that they were watching actors. Those are actors who are hot. The actual Menendez brothers look like fucking three sides of bad road at this point. They're like dudes in their 50s. So whatever. Okay. But it coincided with the local elections. So the DA, who was desperately trying to hold on to his job, held a press conference and said, I'm going to reopen the Menendez brothers case and we're going to do a resentencing because I think they were too harshly sentenced. Remember, he's running for re-election. And Netflix has got a really popular show about the Menendez brothers. So this motherfucker is just saying shit to try and get reelected. Well, guess what? He didn't. He didn't get reelected. So the new guy who came in, the new guy's like, yeah, I'm going to have to take a look at the whole Menendez brothers thing because I'm not running for reelection for 4 years. And let's be honest, these fucking guys are monsters. They did it. That was kind of the vibe of the new incoming Los Angeles district attorney. Well, yesterday he made his announcement, and he announced that they will not be reopening the Menendez brothers case. There will not be a petition to the judge sent by the district attorney to resentence the two brothers. Nope, that's not happening. They're staying in jail for life. Huzzah! The psychos ain't getting out. Menendez brothers, Los Angeles DA Nathan Hochman asks to withdraw his predecessor's motion to free the killers. Let's see here. Los Angeles District Attorney Nathan Hochman, newly elected, doesn't have to worry about, we're all going to forget about this. Anybody that's going to hold this against him in the next election, it's going to be 4 years ago. And trust me, human beings do not remember what they were mad about yesterday, let alone 4 years ago. He's got plenty of time to get these idiots back. Los Angeles District Attorney Nathan Hochman told reporters Monday that he is seeking to withdraw his predecessor's motion to have a resentencing hearing for the Menendez brothers, two convicted killers, Eric and Lyle, who hoped to be freed from life imprisonment without parole. Hochman said the brothers have failed to come clean about a motive or display meaningful self-reflection that would warrant a resentencing. The self-defense defense was a fabrication, Hochman said. They need to admit that. They had previously exhausted all appeals and had no hope of freedom until a new California law made resentencing hearings possible. Any reduction could make them immediately eligible for parole. Hochman said the brothers have repeatedly lied about the case, their parents, and their interactions with witnesses. In a statement following Hochman's remarks, relatives of the brothers, who have been pushing for their release, accused the DA of holding their family hostage. He appears fixated on their trauma-driven response to the killings in 1989 with blinders on to the fact that they were repeatedly abused. That's what the certain members of the family say. They were abused. My brother was a monster. That's what they're saying. However, there is a whole other wing of the family that's like, these two kids are fucking silver spoon psychos. We never liked them. They were awful at every Thanksgiving. They were brats. So the family is divided. Anyway, I think it's good. Menendez brothers are going to stay in prison. I remember that case. They were not good people. New Hampshire. Let's hear it for our people in New Hampshire. Didn't we just talk about New Hampshire the other day? New Hampshire just had a birthday. Like, wasn't New Hampshire? Is New Hampshire like the 14th state after the 13th colonies? Didn't we do that? Didn't I say New Hampshire? Yeah, I think New Hampshire was like the first. Once we got our freedom and we started gobbling up states, I think New Hampshire was like 14. Because we had the 13 colonies, and then we're like, okay, let's add more. And I think New Hampshire was the first one. We're like, well, that's a no-brainer. It's right there. Let's just absorb New Hampshire. And I think my take on New Hampshire was they haven't really done much to justify their high pick. They were drafted. They were first pick overall. They came out of college, and the pros, the 13 colonies, were like, let's draft it. And they went with New Hampshire. And they really have been kind of a bust. It's a solid player, New Hampshire's a solid player. I wouldn't call New Hampshire a bust. But not superstar, not a Hall of Fame draft choice. Number one overall was probably not where. Probably could have got New Hampshire in the second and third round, but we went with New Hampshire. Anyway, New Hampshire's been around for a while, and they've got a new law that is about to pass. Are you ready for legalized shrooms in New Hampshire? Yeah! Psilocybin, a new bill in New Hampshire, or a new law in New Hampshire is going to make psilocybin, well, not legal, but you want to trip balls and then just, drink a bunch of syrup straight from a tree? You can do that in New Hampshire. I don't know what I'm picturing. Like, you ever seen in cartoons where they have like those spigots and they're sharp and they go up to a tree and they're like, gank, gank, gank. And then they just and suck the syrup out. I imagine you could do that in New Hampshire. And I imagine you might try it if you were tripping on legal mushrooms. A House committee in New Hampshire has advanced a bill that would decriminalize the use and possession of psilocybin. Members of the House Criminal Justice and Public Safety voted unanimously 16-0. That shit is passing. 16-0. There was no dissent. It's passing. Prior to moving the bill forward, the committee first adopted an amendment to temper the proposed reform. As originally introduced, the bill would have completely removed all penalties around obtaining, purchasing, transporting, possessing, or using psilocybin, effectively legalizing it on a non-commercial basis. I bet you can grow good shrooms in New Hampshire. Don't you imagine, like, deep woods, moist. Moist. Why was moist the word I chose? Moist. Ground, green, bears and syrup. New Hampshire. Let's see here. So it was going to be like the bill originally had like, yeah, it's totally free. Do whatever you want. Trip balls, wherever, whenever. So that was the original thing, but they had to change it. So here's what they changed it to. The amended version of the legislation imposes penalties, but they're lower than the state's current felony level prohibition. Under the new amendment, a first psilocybin offense would be a violation subject to a fine no more than $100. All right, so it's like, it's probably going to be like a $20 fine. Like, they'll keep it really cheap. You're walking past a cop down the street and your bag of shrooms falls out of your pocket. It's $15. Under the new amendment, second and third offenses for psilocybin. Remember, first one's like a $20 fine. Up to 100. Second and third offenses, that's going to be class 2. That's going to give you, it could be up to a $500 fine, but no risk of jail time. You ain't going to jail. I'm going to put you in jail for wanting to trip balls. Fourth and subsequent offenses would still be classified as felonies. So if you busted like 4 times, they're what this is in New Hampshire is they're just being cool about shrooms. They're just like, just be cool, man. Don't be a shroom asshole, and you're never going to get caught, and everything's going to be fine. Take a little bit, sit on your front porch. Like I said, go out there and suck some syrup out of trees. That's what you do in New Hampshire. This is something that I think we're going to see a lot more. Not here in Texas. No, nothing cool and modern and fun will ever be allowed here in Texas. Nothing like that. unless we consider fracking cool and modern and fun. We're going to do that. We're going to rip the guts out of the earth. We're going to do that. But sports betting, like every other state that has real freedom, we here in Texas like our freedom. Yeah, no, we can't sports bet here. Those DraftKings ads and all of this shit that we see everywhere all the time, they mean nothing to us. We can't do it. Weed? Nah, can't get weed. We can't even get hemp. Like hemp is like the thing that everybody's got that's basically legal weed now. But in this state, we've got this guy, not Abbott, who's the other one? Patrick. He wants to make Texas even get rid of the hemp shit. So, we got that. Can't do the gambling. Can't do the weak ass weed. What else? No shrooms. We're never gonna get shrooms. Nothing. Oh, man. Yeah, they tell you that it's all about freedom while at the same time controlling your vices. They want to control you. No gambling fun. Stupid. This fucking state, seriously, the people of this state are brainwashed into thinking that they've got freedoms here. They don't. They've got the freedom to die poor. That's what we've got here in Texas. Freedom to die. Can't even fucking bet. Are you serious? I can't bet. I got friends. I'm in a couple of group chats. These group chats are nothing but my friends in Chicago and New York. Like, dude, I'm laying $25 on that one right now. And then sending links. And I'm like, I can't even click on these links. Sorry, you're in Texas. Your state doesn't allow you to do this. Oh, really? Whole bunch of states got legalized gambling. They got legalized weed. Some got legalized prostitution. And hell, New Hampshire's got legalized tree sucking of syrup while tripping balls. But no, never forget, we lack our freedom here in Texas. Fucking, there's no freedom here. People have no idea. Fight back! Menendez Brothers, New Hampshire shrooms. Oh, okay. Well, this is a good one. Let's go here. I like to do my studies. There's a new poll that came out. This was done by the World. I don't know. What is it? The World? I don't know what this is. So it's something based in Europe. What is it? I want to tell people what this study is. Anyway, here's the headline. Happiest cities in America. Yeah, you ready? You want to hear what the happiest cities in this country are? Well, of course, if we're going to learn what the happiest cities in this country are, we're also going to go through what the unhappiest cities in this country are. But let's start with the happiest, okay? Where are people? These are cities where people are just happy. They're healthy. They make a good living. There's low crime, low traffic. The weather is nice. All of that stuff, all right? So these are the happiest cities in America. Should I give you the top 10? Yeah, I'll give you the top 10 happiest cities in America. Here we go. Number 10, Huntington Beach, California is the 10th happiest city. Well, I heard everybody hates California and Huntington Beach. That's, don't they have gangs and stuff in Long Beach? This is a working class, it's on the beach. It's working class on the beach. That's rare. That would make you happy if you were working class and on the beach. Huntington, California, number 10. Happiest place to live in America. Number 9. Oh my God, what is this? Really? Well, here, this is different. I've got a reason for this. Number 9th happiest city in America, San Francisco, California. Yeah, you want to know why? Here's why. I'll tell you why. Because if you can afford to live in San Francisco, you're golden. There's nothing. If you can afford to live in San Francisco, you can live above it all. And you can have beautiful views and eat in great restaurants and all that fun stuff. Because San Francisco is an awesome city. It's just if you're working class, trying to do business in San Francisco where it's absolutely, and you can't live in any of the suburbs. You can't, all the suburbs, that's Silicon Valley. Those people all have money. All right, so look at that. Rich people are happy. Number 9. Number 8, Scottsdale, Arizona. I don't know anything about Scottsdale. I know a lot of people who live in Arizona, though. Number 7, I can speak to the number 7 happiest city in America because this is where I want to retire. If I had a big bag of money and it's like you could go and you could live anywhere, I've said this many times, Madison, Wisconsin. Madison, Wisconsin is number 7 happiest place in America to live. Lincoln, Nebraska is number 6. I was on an airplane sitting on a runway in Lincoln, Nebraska. Other than that, I've got no comment. Number 5, Overland Park, Kansas. Overland Park, Kansas is the 5th most happiest place to live in America. Overland Park. I think this is like, there's like a bunch of famous people there, like Paul Rudd, Jason Sudeikis, Joe Buck, somebody else. Anyway, Overland Park, Kansas. Number 5, happiest place to live in America. Number 4 is Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I don't know what that's about, but okay. Number 3, Irvine, California. Irvine, California. Isn't that the ghetto? How can people who live in Southern California in a poor part, how can they be happy? I thought California was the evilest place ever. Why are there so many Californias here in the top 10 happiest places to live in America? I thought California, Fox News has been telling me Chicago, San Francisco, and California in general are all the worst places you could ever want to live. Number 2 is San Jose, California, and number 1 is Fremont, California. That's right. The top 3 happiest places to live in America are all in California. All right, let's go to the bottom 10. Should we go to let's find out like the places, the cities that are absolutely the fucking worst. Oh, by the way, let me go through this list. Let me see where we are. My hometown. No. We want to do what is the best ranking place in Texas? It was something that made me really happy. Let me make sure I can find it because I want to get the number right. There it is. Number 17. This is great because this list has like 500 cities. Number 17. Happiest place in America to live. Plano, Texas. Plano, Texas. Look at that. My kid gets to grow up in the number 17 happiest place in America to live. And it is very happy. He's got a very happy, very nice sort of suburban life there. I'm very, very caught up in the whole Plano East world. And, let's go Panthers, all that. I don't know. Very nice. All right. So Plano is the highest ranking place in Texas. Comes in at 17 on the list of nicest places to live. We got anything else in Texas? No, not yet. Not yet. We're dropping down. Okay, hold on. Boston, 45. Comes in at 45. Aurora, Illinois, 49. Aurora, Wayne's World. Aurora, Illinois, cracking the top 50. Good for them. Let's see what else. Washington, D.C. is 54 on the list of happiest places. Austin, Texas is 59 in the list of happiest places. Throwing one out for Jeffy, 65, Des Moines, Iowa. Jeff, our cornfield correspondent. Jeff's out there in Iowa. Let's see. What else do we have? I'm trying. Yeah, Dallas isn't doing well. Los Angeles, California is the 77th happiest place in America to live. 78, St. Paul, Minnesota. Irving, Texas comes in at number 81, the 81 happiest place in America to live. Irving, Texas. Chicago, Illinois comes in at 93. Top 100 for Chicago. But what are you talking about? That place is horrible. Well, 93 isn't great. 93 happiest place in America to live. Chicago, Illinois. Let's see where else. Number 101. It didn't make the top 100. Garland, Texas, the 101 happiest place. Seriously, where the fuck is Dallas? This is not looking good. Grand Prairie is 113. Grand Prairie, Texas. Fort Worth, too. We haven't had Fort Worth. Oklahoma City comes in at 117. Happiest place in America to live. Oh, for crying out loud. Look at this. This is a tap out. This is nonsense. There's no way. Number 124. And now we've crossed over into the least happiest. Okay, so one of the least happiest cities in America to live, 124, Dallas, Texas. 125, Fort Worth, Texas. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Nobody's unhappy in Fort Worth. I know people live in Fort Worth. Fort Worth is awesome. People love Fort Worth. I love Fort Worth. Can't afford to live in Fort Worth. Would like to live in Fort Worth. Would like to live in downtown Fort Worth. There's something cool about that. I don't know. Anyway, Fort Worth comes in at 125. Arlington comes in at 128. Milwaukee, 131. Milwaukee's awesome. I don't understand why people are so unhappy in Milwaukee. All right, let's go to the bottom 10, okay? These are the 10 least. Where did we get here? Editorial note. All right, so that's one. This list stops at 182. All right, so let's go from 172. All right, the bottom 10. These are the least happy cities in America to live. Augusta, Georgia. Nobody wants to live in Augusta, Georgia. Isn't that the home of the? Isn't that like where they have a nice golf tournament? That seems like probably a nice place to live. What are they all mad about? Number 172, Jackson, Mississippi. Yeah, nobody wants to be in Mississippi. Next, we got Mobile, Alabama. Least happy place in America to live. Yeah, nobody wants to live in Mobile. How about Montgomery, Alabama? Yeah, nobody wants to live there either. Huntington, West Virginia. These are the most unhappy places in America. Birmingham, Alabama. Very unhappy. Number 177, Toledo, Ohio. Very unhappy. 178, Gulfport, Mississippi. 179, Fort Smith, Arkansas. Hold on a second. 180, Memphis, Tennessee. 181, Detroit, Michigan. And the least happy city in America, ladies and gentlemen, Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland, 182. What's going on here? My thing. Oh, crap. I seem to have unplugged my... Hold on, guys. Hold on. Got an issue. Got a technical issue. I'm going to tend to it right away. Ugh. Whew. All right. Sorry about that. I somehow managed to unplug the computer that we run the show on, and it was flashing. It was about to go dead, so we were about to get signed off. All right, I'm glad I caught that. Hold on. All right. Peter, our executive producer today, says that list is retarded. No way Fort Worth is behind Garland, Grand Prairie, Irving. Fort Worth, born and bred and extremely happy, and it is actually cheaper than Dallas pugs. Not the places I want to live. Trust me, if I'm moving to Fort Worth, I want to live in the Colonial. That's where I want to live. This place is nice. Baby got champagne tastes. I don't know what to tell you. I can't live in can't live in an apartment. I need a certain style. Babies become accustomed. I do. I love Fort Worth though. I absolutely love it. Let's see here. Al says I live in Cultural District of Fort Worth. That's the truth about Fort Worth. Only people around here realize this. The outside looking in, if you're from Boston and you're thinking about Dallas, Fort Worth, and you're like into culture and all that kind of stuff, you'll probably lean towards Dallas. You'll be like, oh, well, obviously Dallas is the cosmopolitan city, and Fort Worth is the gateway to the West. Fort Worth is like the old West version of what a Texas modern city is. Wrong. That's totally wrong. Everybody knows that's wrong. The cultural center of North Texas is Fort Worth. The Bass family has seen fit to that over the last 50 years, whether it's the opera houses or touring plays and musicals or all kinds of shit. Now, I know that Dallas has recently gotten into the game and started competing with Fort Worth more directly. But, it's no joke to say that there is a cultural district of Fort Worth. Fort Worth has fancy rich people. That Dallas has, rich people that want to show off. Dallas has rich people that are like, I love about them cowboys. You know, that's what Dallas has. Fort Worth has, oil billionaires who are just a little bit quieter, a little bit more reserved in their showiness. I love Fort Worth. There's absolutely nothing bad that I can say about Fort Worth other than traffic. Oh, my God. Coming from Dallas into Fort Worth on a Friday or a Saturday night. Oh, my God. That's insane. Leanne has some advice. Leanne says, move to Parker County, west of Fort Worth. Taylor Sheridan, Bella Hadid, and her mom from Real Housewives all live out there. Yeah, Parker County, man. It's very nice. Parker County's very nice. Landman. The series Landman is like set in Parker County. Well, the rich people, the rich people who have normal Texas suburban lives, they all live in Parker County. It's very well depicted. Other than that, I don't know anything about Parker County. I haven't really been there. What is the town? Is it Enid? Wait, no. What is the town? What is the town? Okay, so in the TV show Landman, Billy Bob Thornton's wife, ex-wife, and daughter live outside Fort Worth in a suburb, and I believe that's Parker County. What is that suburb? They always talk about it. And I'm like, yeah, that is a fucking nice suburb. It's a little far out there, but it is nice. Alito. Thank you. Thank you, Leanne Brady. Alito. Yeah, if you watch Landman, you're like, fucking Alito is like the Silicon Valley of North Texas. Alito is nice. Alito is like South Lake, 50 miles to the west. If you were to like move South Lake, South Lake Frisco, if you were to move that Highland Park, if you were to move South Lake Frisco and Highland Park 50 miles to the west outside, you'd have Alito. At least that's how it's presented in the show Landman. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. You should be proud to be from there. It's certainly depicted on television as a very cool place to be from. What else do we have here? Let's see. What else are we talking about? We're running out of show, guys. We are running out of show. Man, I wanted to get into this, but the dude got. We'll do it tomorrow. We'll get into that tomorrow. It's gonna take too much time. What else? Because we definitely want to do Wendy Williams. Okay, so Wendy Williams is a TV star. Again, I'm not supposed to watch her. There is nothing about her style that is targeting me as a viewer. I'm a middle-aged white man. She is a black woman who does black woman TV. She comes from a more urban, set of sensibilities. I don't know her. What I do know, I do remember her from radio. Because before she became Wendy Williams, the TV person, she was Wendy Williams, who was a very, very good talk show host. Now, she was a talk show host on urban radio in New York City. They let her talk more and more and more and more as she became more interesting. But she was a very provocative shock talk host who just so happened to be on a morning show. But it make no mistake, it was real shock talk, and she was good. And then I kind of lost track of her. And then a couple of years later, she pops up with a TV show. So Wendy Williams is like this, big TV star now. She's like Oprah with an edge, right? She's not afraid. She's going to say the most awful thing, and people are still going to like her because whatever. So she was a big TV star for a number of years, and then she went away. And then there were all these stories that kept popping up about, she's being held prisoner by her children, and she's lost her mind, and reports that she's suffering from the same thing that Bruce Willis has. Aphasia, isn't that what it's called? Other reports that she's senile. She's gone senile. But then she pops up in interviews, like she'll do phone interviews, and she seems lucid, if not a little crazy. I think she's crazy. She behaves. I know a person who's crazy, and I've had to deal with them recently, and I see a lot of that in Wendy Williams. Like just the stuff that we publicly know, let alone the stuff that she's doing behind closed doors, which we saw a lot of it about a year ago. She made a reality show where she allowed cameras to film the way she's being treated. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think of the whole thing. It was all over. It's a big mess. She's sitting on a big pile of money, and everybody in her family, her kids and all that, seem to be just using her big pile of money while she stays locked up in her apartment, not allowed to go outside because mom's fucking nuts. That's basically the story. So yesterday, Wendy Williams was taken by police from a hospital. I don't know, how is this being described? Wendy Williams was taken away from her New York assisted living facility. She's 54 years old. She's living, or 57. She's living in an assisted living facility. So there's obviously something wrong with her. Wendy Williams was taken away from her New York assisted living facility by ambulance Monday after cops were called in for a wellness check when the ex-talk show queen tossed a handwritten note out of a window begging for help. Help! Wendy, the note said. The call came in at around 11:15 a.m. Here, we got a picture of her. So let's do some pictures. Anyway, so she's living in an assisted living facility. And she's up in the window. There she is right there. Not looking good. That's a man, baby. She doesn't look. Come on. Hey, we living in there. That ain't Wendy Williams. That's a dude posing as Wendy Williams. Looks like a dude there. Sorry. Tough. Oh, am I being mean to Wendy Williams? Do you know how fucking mean she has been to everybody? That's her brand. Her brand is to look at a picture of her right here and go, that's a man, baby. But what, she can get away with it because she's a black woman? No, mean is mean. If I'm being mean, then she's been mean her entire career. Turnabout is fair play. She looks like a dude. Wendy Williams looks like a dude. I will say this about Wendy Williams. She was like the first, like we're going back 20 years. She was like the first to be calling out Diddy. She knew there was shit going on with Diddy. She was in a big war with Diddy and a big war with Jay-Z. She was kind of, at one point when she was the big stud urban talk personality in New York, she was in with that whole crowd. And then she started talking about things that she saw. She started breaking bad on Diddy. That got her sideways with Jay-Z and Beyonce. She did no fucks. She says it all. So I'll give her credit for that. 20 years ago, she was telling us all the things that Diddy's being accused of now. Let's see. What else do we have here? We got any pictures of her? All right, what is this? Oh, we got video? All right, let's watch the video. Here we go.
Wendy, how are you?
Wendy, what's going on?
She looks good. I mean, it looks like a dude. But looks like a dude who's got like really expensive women's clothes. That bag is like a $5,000 bag. I've dated fancy girls. I can tell you that's a $5,000 bag. That's Tracy Morgan. I am not convinced that isn't Tracy Morgan. All right, so there you have it. All right, so that was big news yesterday. People were like, what's going on with Wendy Williams? Why is she freaking out in the window of her assisted living facility, dropping notes to people as they pass on by, claiming she needs help? Police show up, then an ambulance comes. All right, that was all yesterday. This morning, Wendy Williams gets on the blower and she calls into a local New York City TV station. Apparently, it's like, Good Day New York or whatever. And, they all have that version. So here we go. Let's listen to what she has to say about all this. She's on the phone with...
Is your HVAC business
they're going to make us
going
watch
down?
commercials, huh?
Hyper-target consumers in your area down to the zip. Learn how Flex data-driven ad solutions can drive more consumers to your HVAC business. Connect with Flex.com.
All right, here we go.
I have Wendy on the line. It's Gina Lisa.
Hi, Gina. Hi, Wendy.
Hello. Hold on. Let me connect.
First of all, I do want to point this out. All right, so I don't know who these people are because we don't live in New York City and we don't watch local New York City morning news, right? This is we have it here, Fox 4, first thing in the morning, and it's, I don't know who it is here either. So I certainly don't know who it is in New York. But this chick, man, this chick is like the most New York morning show. She's like a Saturday Night Live character. She's okay, go ahead, Wendy. Tell me about what's going on, Dal. Seriously, listen to this. This is the most New York.
Okay. Hey,
Rosanna.
hey, Wendy. Wendy.
Rosanna.
Yes, tell me how you're doing.
Well, are we on TV?
Yes, we're on TV.
Oh, my God. Hi.
Hi.
So I'm on the phone with my friend Gina, Good morning.
Good morning, Gina. So, Wendy, yesterday, the last we saw, you were leaving with police officers going to the hospital.
Right. I'm currently at the hospital.
You're currently at the hospital. What's going on there today?
Well, Gina is more, Gina can elaborate on everything, and I'll just co-sign. Go ahead.
Okay, Gina, Wendy had those tests yesterday, right?
Correct. She had those tests. She's been deemed she is not incapacitated. I passed with flying colors.
I know.
And I think it's great news, and it's public, and everybody knows, factually that Wendy's not.
All right. Well, so here's basically what's going on. She's in one of those Britney Spears custodial kind of situations there, and she's trying to prove that she's not batshit and that she's fine and that she can be in control of her own thing because the people in her life are stealing her money, like her kids. She loves her kids, but her kids are little monsters. Her kids are like throwing. The reality series. Did you see the reality series? I don't think you did. Nobody saw it. I saw a little bit of it. There was like a scene where they show her like 20-year-old son who's like living in Miami, living in like a penthouse condo. It's probably like a $10 million condo that, of course, his mom bought. He is throwing like frat parties, like all of the using her credit cards to spend tens of thousands of dollars on food every night for these parties. He's going nuts. And she's like, "This got to stop." And he's able to do it because somehow he and her sister, who is the aunt, somehow has control of all the money that she made these years. And she was the head of a very popular syndicated television show. So we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars. Wendy Williams has a lot of money. Syndicated TV, especially around the time that she signed that deal. Woo! So I guess that's what she's trying to do. She's trying to prove that she's not nuts. But I would suggest that maybe acting a fool in the window of your whatever it is, your inpatient house. I don't know, what is it, like a halfway house? And then dropping notes saying you need help. That's not a good way to sort of prove to the courts that you're normal, but okay. So they took her to the hospital in the ambulance, check her out, and they were like, "Yeah, okay, you're not completely bouncing off the walls right now." I don't know what that means. I don't really care. I just think it's very weird. Wendy Williams. Do I want to do that? Nah, we don't do that. All right, let's end the show here with a little NFL free agency. Let's talk about football. Why not? Y'all can leave. People who aren't interested in really getting sportsy here, you guys can leave because I want to get sportsy. I have been addicted to the offseason. 3 years now. Now, granted, I'm a Chicago Bears fan, and we are 3-0. We are champions of the offseason for the last 3 years in a row. That has combined for probably, I don't know, maybe 9 wins total over 3 years. So it's not really a good thing to be champions of the offseason, but one of the components of the offseason is the opening of free agency. And although free agency hasn't officially opened, it opens tomorrow when signings and deals become legal with the new league year. They are allowed, beginning yesterday, to negotiate. And it's called legal tampering, which is just such a fucking stupid thing. Stop calling it that. Okay? There's no such thing as legal tampering. Tampering is not a legal thing. If you're tampering, that's a crime. Tampering is a crime. There is no shut up. I got to get over it. But if you tune into this show every day, you know that there are little things that I just will not get over. People claiming Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I'm never getting over that. I will knife fight you fucking inbred morons to the death. Die Hard is not a Christmas movie, stupid. Anyway, let's get back on topic. So free agency opened up, and oh my God, everybody's falling all over themselves. Free agency, if you're going to be a player in free agency, you got to have salary cap. Not a lot of teams have salary cap. For instance, I'll give you an example. I got 2 teams, my Chicago Bears, a lot of salary cap, having a lot of fun in free agency, getting active from the very first moment of the legal negotiating period. My other team, the Cowboys, not so much. Gonna have to cut people, gonna have to renegotiate, gonna have to have an awkward conversation with Dak and CD and try and get Micah. I mean, there's trouble. There's trouble. You're getting rid of this guy. You're bringing in bullshit running backs. It's not always good. All right, so let's go through this. Let me see what's been happening in free agency. Just since we've been on the air, let's see, what is the latest? All right, within the last 8 minutes, the Ravens have re-signed 5-time Pro Bowl fullback Patrick Ricard. I don't care about that. All right. Pass rusher Anthony Nelson is back with the Bucs. 2 years and $10 million with a max of $12 million. That's not bad. What other deals? I'm trying to see if the Cowboys done anything yet today. They can't do anything. They did their one thing yesterday, right? What did they do? I'll tell you. Darrington Evans has agreed to terms with the Bills per his agency. Was with the team in 2024, spending the first. I think he was also with the Bears, Darrington Evans. I think he was like one of our practice squad guys. Let's see. Cowboys agreed a 3-year deal with kick returner wide receiver Turpin. Okay, come on. All right, so we're keeping. That's good. Yeah, you got to get him signed up. Set to become a restricted free agent, all-pro returner Cavante Turpin and the Dallas Cowboys have agreed to a 3-year deal, according to sources. Without the extension, Turpin was likely to get the second-round tender of $5.3 million, but now he gets more security, and the Cowboys retain one of their top playmakers. All right, that's good. That's good. It's a kick returner, Not on the field, but it's all right when he is on the field. He can flip the score. That's good. Free agent outside linebacker. Don't care about this guy. Browns did a stupid move that nobody cares about. What else do we have? Ravens typically target players. I don't care about that. Leonard Floyd has been released by the San Francisco 49ers. This is a cap move. Although Leonard Floyd never really lived up to his first-round potential. He had a couple of good years when he was playing next to Aaron Donald, but who wouldn't have a good year if you're playing next to Aaron Donald? You ain't drawing any double teams. So that was sort of his best run, with the Rams, Leonard Floyd. Then he went to Buffalo, right? He was in Buffalo for like a cup of coffee. Von Miller was hurt, so he didn't have that same kind of But then he was San Francisco. All right, maybe he's done. I don't know. Maybe he's done. Maybe Leonard Floyd is done. What is he, a 10-year vet? There you go. San Francisco 49ers are releasing defensive end Leonard Floyd. Floyd becomes the latest 49ers veteran who will be jettisoned by the team this offseason. They've also gotten rid of Javon Hargrave, fullback Kyle Juszczyk, Debo, Malik Collins. Oh, my God. San Francisco. Their window is closed, baby. Closed. See, we'll see what a genius Kyle Shanahan is now. That window in San Francisco is closed. Texans re-sign, who is this? Safety, MJ Stewart. All right. Mario Edwards has been brought back by the Texans. Mario Edwards Jr. on a 2-year, $9.5 million deal. This is garbage time. This day, today, this is all garbage time free agency. All of the good ones were snapped up in the first couple of hours yesterday. What are the big ones? Nope. Panthers release veteran running back Miles Sanders. He's done. Miles Sanders never really amounted to what we thought Miles Sanders was going to be out of college, right? He was drafted by the Eagles and then did nothing. Anyway, moving on. What else do we have here? Here's one. Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones looks like he's going to be signing with the Colts. Daniel Jones, the pride of Duke University quarterback. Duke, a basketball school, produced Daniel Jones. New York Giants, they tried to rush him into a starting role. They tried to make Daniel Jones like Dak Prescott. A guy that nobody expected anything from, but then all of a sudden he's really good. That's what the Cowboys enjoyed for a number of years. Giants thought they had the same thing in Dak Prescott. Nobody thought Daniel Jones was going to be great. Nobody even understood why they drafted him as high as they did, but they did. They tried, and Daniel Jones sucks. What does this mean for Anthony Richardson? Anthony Richardson is supposed to be the savior down there in Indianapolis, and now they're bringing in Daniel Jones. Free agent quarterback Daniel Jones is finalizing a 1-year, $14 million contract. $14 million 1 year to probably hold a clipboard. Daniel Jones is probably going to hold a clipboard. $14 million. I'm telling you, that is the best. The best gig in America is NFL backup quarterback. It's the best gig in America. No, you don't have to work hard. You're cool. You're a part of everything. Like, you're a part of the shit. So, like, when you're out in bars and stuff, you're like, yeah, I play in the NFL. It's cool. You get all that. You don't get injured. You're in the league for like 20 years. Backup quarterbacks are in the league for like 20 years. And when they retire, they're not limping. They don't have 50 surgeries. And you get that backup quarterback money, which is like the third highest pay scale on the entire team, right? I mean, it's quarterback is number one, wide receiver, and then maybe edge. That's it. Those are like the three highest paid positions. And then everybody else is making like, $5 million a year, $8 million, $9 million, $10 million. And then you get the backup quarterbacks. And backup quarterbacks are like making 13, or in Daniel Jones's case, $14 million. All right. What else do we have? What else? Just going over. CJ Gardner-Johnson is also a Texan. Well, the Texans are getting pretty active. So, now I'm seeing Daniel Jones is deciding between the Colts and the Vikings. I go Colts. If I'm Daniel Jones, I go Colts. Here's why. Because the people, the fan base in Indianapolis are not as sold on Anthony Richardson as being their savior as the people in Minnesota are sold on J.J. McCarthy being their savior. So if I'm Daniel Jones, I want to go to the place where, they're going to start chanting my name in the stands after, Anthony Richardson throws 3 picks in the first half of game 1. You're not going to get that. J.J. McCarthy, they want J.J. McCarthy to be good. So maybe that's the best place for him to go. Actually, just hang out. I don't know if Daniel Jones wants to start or not. I'm sure he does. What else do we have? Falcons, Richie Grant, safety. He's going from the Falcons to the 49ers. I don't care. What else? I'm going to go to the chat room. You got any NFL talk you want to do? You got any questions? I'll go anywhere you want. See, what is the latest? A few seconds ago. Rams wide receiver Puka Nacua is switching his jersey number from 17 to 12, the number he wore at BYU. This move frees up number 17 for new Rams wide receiver Davante Adams. I don't think Davante's what Davante was, but this isn't bad for the Rams, They could probably use Davante Adams in a similar way to how they used Odell Beckham a couple of years ago, right? Maybe even the way they used Allen Robinson. Yeah, McVay will come up with a use for a, heavy tread wide receiver who's still got a couple of moves left in him. I don't know. It's not a bad job. I don't know if I want Davante Adams being my wide receiver 1, but that's okay. You got that's the number changing and all that stuff. Like we the Bears got Io. We got an edge rusher yesterday, a young 25-year-old edge rusher from Indianapolis, who apparently I've never heard of, but apparently people are like, no, he's in ascending. This is good. This is his first contract. He's, he was on his rookie deal there. So that's good. So that's fine. But he wears number 54, and he ain't going to get to keep 54 in Chicago. Chicago has a problem that other teams don't have. Chicago has retired way too many numbers. Like, we're 100 years old. I mean, there's like 5 numbers retired from the 1920s. There's like just a whole shit ton of numbers that nobody can ever wear as a Bear. 54, interestingly enough, of course, that's Brian Urlacher. That has not been officially retired, but nobody's ever going to wear it again. They're not going to let anybody wear 54. It's just not going to happen. So I don't know what Deo. That's what we're gonna call him. We're gonna call him Deo because his last name is like Obinga Bonga. It's like some Western Deo Obinga Bonga. We got him. Then we got Grady Jarrett. Love that. Can I tell you a cool story? All right, we'll leave you with this. I'll tell you a very cool. My son and I, my son actually brought this up last night to me on the phone, and you got to understand that my son is a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan. Born and raised here, loves the Cowboys. The Cowboys, if we're being honest, the Cowboys are his number one team. Yeah, the Bears are his like team, dad and son and Bears and grandma and all that stuff. So he's like, that's Bears very important to him. But if we're being honest, he's a kid from Dallas. He loves his Cowboys. So he was telling me last night, he was explaining to me what happened between the Chicago Bears and the Atlanta Falcons yesterday, because something really cool. I'm telling you, there could be a 30 for 30 about what happened between the Chicago Bears management, Ryan Poles, who is the general manager of the Chicago Bears, and the Atlanta Falcons management, Fontenot being the lead guy, but Ryan Pace being the assistant general manager in Atlanta. Ryan Pace is the former general manager of the Bears. So Ryan Poles is now negotiating essentially with his predecessor with the job with the Bears. Now, my son explained this all to me because my son is very angry that the Bears or the Cowboys do not have a functioning general manager position. They don't have somebody, they don't have a Howie, they don't have somebody there that is. They don't have a Chris Ballard. They don't have a who's the guy down there in Kansas City? I can't think of right now. Anyway, Cowboys got Jerry Jones, Jerry and Steven, right? So my son hates that. He wants the Cowboys to be more professional and more modern, bring in a real young sort of grifter type who's going to work the other general managers. Whereas Jerry, and this according to my 15-year-old son, he thinks that Jerry Jones is one of these guys who goes into these meetings and thinks that everybody is just super impressed to be in a room with him. And so they placate him, through his ego and all that. Oh, I can't believe, look at me. I'm just the general manager of the Carolina Panthers, and I'm sitting here in a room with the great Jerry Jones. My son thinks that's how the other teams play Jerry. And then Jerry's like, oh, come on. Let's get a deal done, fellas. I'm not going to play that hard ball with a bunch of guys who love me so much. And I don't think he's wrong. I don't think he's completely out of bounds. So he tells me this story last night, and you got to realize now it's from the perspective of somebody who wants his Cowboys to have a general manager. So he calls me up and he's like, Dad, did you see what happened between Ryan Poles and Ryan Pace? And I'm like, no. So this is day one of free agency. Now, just to sort of let you know, the Chicago Bears yesterday, within the first couple of hours of free agency, signed 2 Atlanta Falcons players. Our number one target in free agency was Drew Dahlman, the center, the best center available. We wanted him. We were going to take him. We were going to make him a very well-paid center. So we snatched him up. Then, of course, the Bears later in the afternoon snatched up Grady Jarrett, who is a 30-year-old 3. Is he a 3? He's a defensive tackle, whatever. He jumps around, but also a very good pickup. He was the captain of the Atlanta Falcons. He was their Walter Payton Man of the Year 2 years in a row, and he's one of the most beloved current players. He's the face of the Atlanta Falcons, defensive tackle Grady Jarrett. Okay. So here's what my son explained to me about what happened yesterday. So apparently the Atlanta Falcons were circling the wagons around Drew Dahlman yesterday when the negotiating period opened up. So Ryan Pace and Fontenot, there with the Atlanta Falcons, decided that they were going to keep Drew Dahlman, that Drew Dahlman was not going to be just given away to the Bears. They were going to make a deal and they were going to get him re-signed and they were going to keep Drew Dahlman as their center. They needed to move around some money. They needed to do some things, some real risky things. So one of the things that Ryan Pace did was that they decided in Atlanta that they were going to cut early in the morning Grady Jarrett. Their longtime face of the franchise. This one hurts. We're going to cut him so that we can free up that money so that we can pay Drew Dahlman to not go to Chicago. So while that was all happening, Drew Dahlman signed with the Bears. So while they were cutting the face of their franchise, Grady Jarrett, the Atlanta Falcons then turned their attention to saving Drew Dahlman, but unfortunately within 15 minutes of the legal tampering period opening, the Bears had announced they signed him. So they got it. So now the Atlanta Falcons spent the next couple of hours going, okay, wait a second. Now we don't have him. And okay, so we got to get Jarrett back. So then they decided that they were going to try and re-sign Jarrett. No, the Bears snuck in again and took him as well. So do you see what a good general manager can do? And look, if shit goes haywire, I will be the first to tell you that Ryan Poles, the general manager of the Chicago Bears, needs to go. I've been there before. But he is just, the last 3 off seasons, he has just worked over every other general manager in this league. Now, it hasn't resulted in any kind of wins or tangible, success or even growth for that matter. But it was funny how the Atlanta Falcons really got fucked up. And it was between 2 guys who were the former general managers of the Bears. The current general manager of the Bears completely fucked over the current assistant general manager of the Atlanta Falcons. But anyway, I just thought that was funny. It was like, that's how you do it. So the Falcons cut Grady Jarrett in order to save Drew Dahlman. And while they were cutting him, the Bears signed Drew Dahlman. And then when the Falcons went back to Grady Jarrett, they realized that, he was signed by the Bears too. The Atlanta Falcons don't like us very much today, but that's funny. That's what a good GM can do. So I'm telling you, as of right now, I couldn't be happier with Ryan Poles, the guy who is controlling this rebuild. We've had bad ones in the past. The aforementioned Ryan Pace, who's now assistant GM down there in Atlanta. That dude sucks. He fucking drafted Mitch Trubisky, number 2 overall. Fuck that guy. Ryan Poles? Ryan Poles is the reason Kansas City has Patrick Mahomes. Ryan Poles, the current GM of the Bears, is the one who got in Andy Reid's ear and was like, no. I know his A&M tape. Or not A&M. Was A&M? Or Tech? Tech. I know his college tape isn't that great, but he convinced him that Patrick Mahomes was going to be Patrick Mahomes. So that's how he got to be the general manager of the Bears, because of his success there in Kansas City. And what does he do? Like, first time through, he houses Carolina. You realize we still have the number 39 pick overall from like 3 years ago when we traded the number 1 overall pick to Carolina, and they ended up drafting, can't even remember his name, Drew Bryce. Who is that fucker over there in Carolina that they mortgaged everything to us for? Pick is crazy. When you look at what we got, we traded that number 1 pick that they then used on that Alabama quarterback. We traded the number 1 pick to Carolina. And in return, just off the top of our head, we got DJ Moore. They gave us DJ Moore in the deal. He's our wide receiver 1. We got Caleb Williams because they gave us their pick next year, and that turned out to be the number 1. Who else did we get? We took Tyreek Stevenson in the second with a second. We might trade that 39. Here's something that's on the table. So Trey Hendrickson, he Mr. 17 sacks last year, runner-up defensive player of the year, Cincinnati Bengals edge. He wants a trade. There's like talk that we're going to trade that second. We'll do a swap in the first round. So here's the deal. Bears, Trey Hendrickson. Bears give the Cincinnati Bengals the 10th overall pick. We take the Cincinnati Bengals 17th overall pick. We also give the Cincinnati Bengals our 39th pick, and we also give them our 3rd round pick next year. That's the deal that's on the table. That can get us Hendrickson. That will mean that Ryan Poles traded 1 pick for DJ Moore, Caleb Williams, Tyreek Stevenson, and Trey Hendrickson, all for whoever they, anyway, that's what a GM, I'm very happy with my GM. Very happy with my GM. And in the way he fucking just rolled into the legal signing period or the legal negotiation period and just went, I'll take that, I'll take that, I'll take that, and I'll take that. And now let's fucking go into the draft with no needs. We got a shit ton of picks again in the draft, right? We got like 4 picks in the top 100. 1, 2, 3, something like that. 5 maybe in the top 100 picks. It's incredible. We got like 3 in the top 50. Woo! We'll take that. But now we go into the draft. We don't need anything. We've rebuilt our entire offensive line with studs who we were able to pay at the top of the market. Why? Because we've got a quarterback on a rookie deal. And we got a wide receiver 1 on a rookie deal. Well, wide receiver 2. Anyway, we're feeling good. Feeling good. All right, let me see. We've had a couple of minutes. Let's see if there's anything new with free agency. I'm telling you, man, the Cowboys get themselves a really good, like just a football kid. Like a young man who understands the modern game. Jerry thinks he is the game. That's the problem. Wide receivers have signed, the Cardinals have signed wide receiver Zay Jones on a 1-year deal. Where'd he come from? Wasn't Zay Jones? Wasn't he? No, Zay Flowers? Who's Zay Jones? Too many Zays. Juwan Johnson is returning to the Saints. Tight end Juwan Johnson. All right, let's see. All right, that's it. We got nothing else. Peter says, I know you don't care, but the next 3 weeks are like heaven to this college basketball fan. I love football, but NCAA tournament ball is the best. It's all right. It's fun. March Madness is fun. I can get behind it, but it doesn't, it's a distraction from football. It comes at the perfect time. Mini camps are probably the only thing that are occurring during March. You get the lead up. The draft is in April. Yeah, it's nicely slotted. March Madness is nicely slotted as a distraction, but make no mistake, I'm football first. I don't. Sorry, I'm just going back, looking at some of the things we've talked about here. Some of the chat room comments, seeing if there's anything I want to jump on. Nah, nothing I want to jump on. All right, we're good. All right, once again, executive producer on today's show is the incredible Peter. Thank you so much. If you want to be tomorrow's executive producer, all you've got to do is be the big tipper of the day. Drop a little something in the Venmo, drop a little something in the Cash App, however you want to do it. We'll be back tomorrow, round about noon, for more of The Rant, live from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios here in the beautiful E-Gallery in Dallas's Design District. Everything you need to know about this day, every day, 12 p.m. Central. Love you guys. Got to go. Bye.